a ritual I was thinking of trying to get done.
I
That
unintentionally
one
lied
was
to
for
you.
the
So I was stuck
dryads.
about elbow deep and I couldn't get my way out of it.
I have 9 arrows of entangle.
Ah, okay, cool.
Apparently.
Yeah, they're right here.
Let's not
All
talk about it.
right. Hello, folks. Thank you for joining us. We had a little quick meeting, so it's starting a little bit late today.
Like every good business meeting, there was pizza.
Jeff, will make it today, or is he not?
No, he's gonna make it today.
Oh, he had watch the dog.
He had family stuff.
Family stuff going on. It's not he's not feeling well. He had family stuff.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough. All right. So, why does this keep doing that? Well, we'll figure it out later. All right. Hello, everyone. As always, thank you all for joining us. Let's see here. Whew. Whew. It is another beautiful day here in the south. The birds are singing. The concrete is cooking eggs.
Do I want another sauce for the cover?
I go ahead and cover it. I'll get one a break. So, with that, everyone ready?
As we're gonna be.
Against my will.
Against your will.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, everyone, and as always, welcome to another exciting adventure of the Legends of Phaeterra. Adventures of the Natural Ones. Naturally. I am Kenneth Moffat, aka the Southern GM. And before we jump into tonight's session, a few quick announcements. As always, thank you to the wonderful people here at the Hive in Macomb, Mississippi. Without them, none of this would be possible. The amazing Rinnable Roleplay Room you see here. It's great. It's actually very big, too. Got all these different miniatures and things. Like I said, this place is rentable if you want to come run some games in it. They have another one that's kind of more in the back. If not, table space is free, and they're very warm and welcoming people. You always just come down and hang out. Again, that is The Hive at Macomb. Also, go check them out online at thehiveinmacomb.com. They have wonderful little merchandise like the Mimic tankard that holds a full energy drink. But yeah, also I have some my own merchandise coming down the line. We'll get that. Well, that's in the future. But yeah, thank you so much to the guys at the Hive for letting me put our lunacy on the interwebs. Also, speaking about lunacy and interwebs, the Hive is also where every week at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, Scars of Midgard, Stogande Sagas takes place. The amazing Eldritch Nordic. It's like Vikings meet Cthulhu-esque homebrew game that happens here. DM by the amazing Elder Fenris, a good friend of mine, and a co-host, now one of 4 co-hosts on our podcast, Playing with Advantage. We did our first episode today with the amazing Night Rain. So happy to have her as one of our co-hosts. She is a wonderful person. She has so much, just a wealth of knowledge. Her resume in the nerd community is just overpowering and humbling. Yeah, thank you so very much. We discussed homebrewing today, like how we approach rules and different things for homebrewing. It was a very, very cool topic. So yeah, check us out, Playing with Advantage on Spotify, iTunes. I think we're on iHeartRadio. No, I'm not 100% on that one. But yeah, wherever you find your podcast, go check us out. I think there's anything else. Anybody else have any announcements? Anything I might have missed?
I don't think so.
I think we're good.
Cool. Well, with that, you will notice our dear barbarian, Mr. Grimm, aka Jeff, is not here this evening. Some family stuff, no biggie. We'll still drive on. I could do his voice just as well as he can. Grimwald Grizzlebrand, that's your service. So, this is just going to be me sitting on the table, talking to myself.
That's what you do already.
That's what I do already. So with that, let's go ahead and dive into the episode this evening. with a quick round of introductions, and then we'll do a quick recap. We will start on the right.
All right. I'm Beck, and I am playing Finral Nefarin, the half-elf Drake Warden Ranger.
Hi, I'm Derek. I'm playing Sondra Nalo, our Drow Cleric Rogue.
I'm Ben. I'm playing Akara Kiroshan, the Gem Dragonborn Divine Soul Sorcerer.
I'm Michael. I'm playing Nathaniel Lasson, the Human Warlock Rogue.
I'm Ricky. I'm playing Finnegan Tenderfoot, the Halfling Wizard Rogue.
And, as I said, I am Kenneth, a.k.a. the Southern GM, and I am the Game Master, Weaver of Fate, Builder of Legends, and all in all, just one giant windbag. It is my... You don't gotta dodge that hard, Derek. It is my job and my privilege to build and craft the amazing story and world that these wonderful people at Montel play. So, with that...
I remember what the missing announcement was.
What?
The weekly sessions upload in podcast form.
Yes, thank you. Tonight's podcast, as we took off last week to celebrate Mother's Day and such, tonight's podcast will be available this Tuesday, thanks to the amazing Chaos Media. Soon, and plus with my new system I have, as soon as we finish, I can download the TikTok audio, which is a little bit cleaner and crisper, than it's a little more even. So, but yeah, go check out through Chaos Media, the Southern GM, Legends of Fateera. He's got all of them up. He's missing one or two, but I have, because I don't have those anymore. They got, but he's got the majority of our adventures up, and he is completely up to date with the current chapters. So yeah, thank you so much, Chaos Media. Also, they also have the Lone Star Custom Dice Company on TikTok. Amazing custom dice. They're really, really pretty. I may try to pick some up from him. Those are great. All right, so yeah, thank you so much, Chaos. Really appreciate your help and reaching out to me, and that was amazing. Thank you so much. So yeah, with that, we'll now continue back with the some mood music going. That's a little bit too somber. You're not dead yet.
Yep.
Yet.
I think we've all been dead at some point or another.
Yeah.
You haven't.
1, 2, 3.
All right.
Finral has
4.
never died.
More than half the table has been dead at least
So
once.
with that, let's pick up one more.
That's
And Montel is dead enough for everybody else.
We will pick up with a
Someone's got to make up for it.
with a quick review of what has happened in the last session. After a harebrained scheme to break the siege of orcs at Fort Korst in the northern part of Kralot, the ancestral home of the Dragonborns, the Natural Ones, through a little bit of luck and research, found themselves before the actual tomb of Korst Kralot, the Dragonborn hero that led the rebellion against the Chromatic Emperors during the period of time known as Hope's Return, which marked the end of the Fallen Age and brought an end to the Dark Empires. It was discovered by our dear Rakara that what allowed him to do so was that he was present during the literal fall of a god. Sadior crashed into Earth in the form of the Hope's Return comet, and gifting him with the Arkan scale, a literal piece of his heart. Through a great bit of roleplay by our dear Rakara, was able to claim the Arkan scale for himself. Had a moment with your cousin Torin. There was a question posed to you about your family name, which the reaction you gave at the time was rather interesting. I can't wait to see what you take that. You inquired about a map, as there are several old mines that lead into that. While that once, when the crater city was smaller, was outside of the city, now as it's expanded to the actual crater edges, these ancient mines were capped, but still lead into the city itself. You were told that a full legion of these scale-blood orcs, led by an individual named Warlord Hornbreaker, to which Rakara immediately just went, his ass is mine. So we will pick back up You had a conversation. I believe had you had your meeting with the commander and her generals?
Just the commander and Torn.
The cousin. Yeah.
Cousin. Okay, so you were on your way to meet with her and the various lieutenants and such of the fort. I don't remember where everybody else was. It's been a. It's just,
We were all kind of
Yeah,
in
we're
the
all
same
Here's the
area.
last
point, I
two
think.
notes that I
Okay.
have, if that helps.
Torin had a heart information about his leaving. Gola. Yeah. So yeah, the discovering that Sazek was in fact the aunt to your dear young dragonborn hatchling Gola. So with that, let's jump back in. We'll pick back up at the meeting. We'll say that Commander Anira has called her lieutenants, and she stands there with the sub-commander Torin. As Ricard, is anybody else? You bring anyone else into this meeting, or just you?
Everybody, of course.
Okay, everybody. Naturally. As we jump right in, meeting taking place in the shrine. A few eyes are glanced toward what was once the effigy of Corpse, now is this massive tunnel-like hole leading back into his actual sepulcher where his sarcophagus sits. The weird stones around you, kind of ensconced in the wall, still slowly, still active and glowing. Moment as the other lieutenants and various leaders sit among in the stone pews. Commander Sazek and your cousin, Sub-Commander Karajan, both taking one of the front positions. As they settle in, Commander Sazak, Nira looks to you. Well, speaking in common, we have assembled, Rakara. What is it you wish to discuss with us? This moment you hear a quick, excuse me. Yes, one of the Dragonborn pages carrying this like a large rolled up piece of paper. It was, Lord Yagal sent a map for. Yes, of course. I'm sorry. Just kind of runs in, hands you the map for just bows and running off.
We passed through Crater City on the way here and saw all the encampments about. My team, us, will go in and recon, scout off the area, rescue as many captured Dragonborns as possible, send word back, and then we will go from there. My companion here has a map of tunnels used and unused, old, ancient, new, and I have faith in his abilities. I have faith in everyone's abilities.
You watch as your cousin kind of leans over and whispers something, and she just kind of nods. Many of those tunnels have been dormant for millennia, almost for several centuries. There is no telling what state they will be in, and I'm sorry we cannot. We do not have the power to waste on digging you out. Are you sure? I would recommend whichever one you take, you make sure that it is not occupied.
We take your suggestions very highly, and we understand that you do not have the Dragonborn power to dig us out. If something catastrophic happens, I have faith in our own abilities to take care of ourselves.
I have a full count, by the way. We are missing a total of 50. Well, we were missing 50. Our scouts have seen the bodies of 2 of our soldiers hung out almost as scarecrows. So we would like to assume that there are still 48 of our number, little over, almost 2 squads that were taken prisoner. The last estimates we have from those scouts is that these orcs are near legion size, so several hundred of these. This is not a raiding party. These orcs came here for a purpose, and I think as though they intend to stay. A full legion of orcs will cause havoc, at least in the northern part of Krilat, if not the entirety of the island.
I have helped with Subcommander Torn and gathered supplies for these captured Dragonborn when we rescued them. I understand that there is quite a few orc in Crater City. It is
My dear Ricardo, it's not quite a few. There is an army of orc, and forgive me, I have sent word about your exploits, and while the 6 of you are formidable, this is still an army of war battle-hardened orcs. And we cannot. There is just a guardian of a guardian force here. We do not have the numbers to assail a fortified city such as the Crater City.
And this is why we are not going to assail a fortified city. There are more ways to win a battle than head on. Every officer in this hall knows this.
Every officer also knows that you do not walk into an anthill and expect not to get bitten.
We have been bitten many times, and we are far too used to it. But I have discussed with some of my companions about using a different tactic to spread rumors among or Crater City.
Crater City. It's the Orcrag Crater, and you just call it the Crater City.
Of the Crater City. With the orcs there, Hornbreaker. He and I have met before. Or to say, someone I was met him before.
You see an obvious kind of twitch from Torin at that.
By their laws and custom, I'll reach up and touch the reformed horn. He is not proper chief.
You see your cousin. You can give him a roll to see how he responds to that. Natural one. Your cousin just kind of scoffs. And what makes you think, Rakata, that these orcs will follow custom and tradition? They have no allegiance but to power and brutality.
It has led them this millennia long. Why would they stop now? But I understand that they are there in that city for a reason. Not just to... There's something there. I know they are after something there. The deep dragons had to come from somewhere. Dragonborn. So... Shadowborn. It is not just the orcs we're concerned about. The Draconians, the Shadowborn.
You see her nod, reach up, she kind of leans over and nods to one of the lieutenants behind her who hands her several stacks of paper. Because I was informed about a purifying fire that was required within one of the stores due to some unknown reactions of the corpses of these Shadowborn. I'd actually meant to inquire with your elfin friend here about that. I understand it was necessary, but I'd wish there had been time for our clerics and our scholars to do a thorough study of these. Such entities have never been seen in Krilat.
There was nothing left to study. They were... You know how Krilat is in the tomb now that the scale is gone? That is the same state that those bodies were in less than 24 hours after dying. There was nothing to study.
Roll me a history check, Rakara, with proficiency.
15.
15. You actually do know that her words are true. Nothing like these Shadowborn have ever been seen before. Even during the time of the Chromatic Emperors, even during the Drakon Empire, the only entities that were ever known were the Draconians and something that they called scale grafted, which were they were servants in the aspect that they served, but they were almost like made men in a way. It's the best way to describe it. That they were gifted with certain aspects of dragons. Like it would be uncommon to see these people walking around with like scales grafted to them or horns, draconic eyes, that kind of stuff. They usually were given as gifts to those who have done some great service for the chromatic dragons, such as bringing an enemy ship into the draconic harbors full of prisoners. Basically, they were rewards for treason and treachery. When hope returned and the rebellion happened, these were some of the first ones that were abandoned by the Draconians and the Drakon Emperors, and they quickly were dealt with. But as for these shadowy dragonborns, these shadowborns, there's been no record of them have ever existed.
You said before, several sessions ago, Ricard heard like stories of them.
It's the story you tell your children to make them act right. Of
What you
things coming
heard
to
was
take
that
the night.
little children who are bad are taken and fed to the shadows, and this is kind of like the
boogeyman.
The boogeyman. Though again, they've never existed. It was just legends and stories and rumors of them.
Okay, so then I will, when she tells me that no one's ever been seen, I will respond with, if none have ever been seen, where have the stories come from?
You mean it was a child? It was what parents told the hatchlings to keep them from venturing into the dark and dangerous places alone.
Every story, every myth, every legend starts from truth, which means that they have been here before somewhere. It is not just something someone made up.
You didn't roll high enough for this part. Thankfully she did. She goes, then what about the great shadow, the shadowy one that would come and pluck you from your bed and devour you whole? Is there some creature out there that we should be concerned about then?
Just kind of over the ring at Ricard. Should we tell him? Because we three are the only three that have seen this thing. Should we tell him?
It's been a while. A few weeks. Oh.
Should we tell him? This is over the ring, though.
Give me a minute.
Okay.
I know Commander trusts me to some degree, and I hope through her trust, the rest of you can trust me to some degree. I have seen things gifted from Bahamut. There is these Shadowborn. They come from a shadow dragon. That's the best I can describe it. It's evil. It's not of life. My current friend here deals more in good ways with that than I do. But
Finnegan, do you have your glasses down? Like, are they...
Oh, yeah, typically do, but
50-50 shot.
yeah, they're on.
They're on? Roll me a perception check then, with advantage for magical perception.
Perception.
Yes. Okay. So all that's happening. So you mean that these creatures actually that these, what we know as legend and lore, was fact and history in the old empire?
Yes.
Perhaps there is some record of it then within the archives, but something more than just stories.
The person you should probably speak to is Krilnik. In the library in the Gem City.
Within the Talon archives.
Yes. I know your people don't hold religion as highly as some. But Krilnik and I are of a group who our job is to make sure that the boogeyman stays a story.
It's not that, and Ricardo, this is something that you also would understand. It is not that the Dragonborn do not hold to religion. You must remember, before the Dark Age, before the Fallen Age, and the Drakan Empire rise, we worshipped the dragon gods as though they were our literal parents. But that did not stop the rise of the chromatic emperors, the millennia of subjugation, the untold horrors. It was only when Corpse Krillat showed us that it is through our will and our own strength that the gods are manifested. So while we do worship and regard the Scale Father, we know that he is not going to do this for us, and we must prove our worth to him. Literally, Rakara, the sentiment is hope and faith through perseverance. What was your role?
14.
As you were just kind of glancing around, several of the lieutenants and officers, you do see that one of them, many of them wear like various, they're basically in their dress blues, various medals and ribbons and such. One of them has a very beautiful necklace on, like this faint gold, that the crystal, there's a faint divination ping of an active scrying spell. Someone is watching.
Gonna say anything? Gonna do it.
We got somebody listening in from outside.
No.
I will telepathically connect to Commander. And
By the way, the Dragonborn that the necklace is on is a copper Dragonborn.
Copper Dragon. I'll relay that information. Is he or she doing anything in particular?
He's sitting like very, the military fashion, hands together, helmet in his lap, just kind of staring ahead as voices are spoken. People speak, like eyes going back and forth. He's very relaxed, very just kind of sitting at ease, but prepared, I guess, to be called upon, that kind of thing.
well, he looks. Do you need to do something before I talk to her?
Ricky, you got an idea, or do you need one? Because I was gonna say if you.
You would. Did you alert Makara as well?
He said it over the ring.
Everyone
Okay.
over the ring.
You do not know that this Dragonborn looks very, very young. The mark is that of equivalent to a second lieutenant in our modern military. Like, he is fresh out. He is a brand new officer. He is probably the lowest rank out of OCS you could get, aside from the third lieutenant thing. But
I don't have.
I'll send a.
yeah, but to her, so
Someone's gonna stall them for a second. Just say something, and then telepathically connect to Commander. I didn't get her name.
Nira,
Nero.
but Nira Sazek.
Say that. Do you have others attending today, not in this room?
I do not. Unfortunately, there were some of our officers who did not survive the initial encounter, but they have yet to be replaced. The current officers are the ones you see here with me. She responds telepathically.
Back real quickly. One of us has noticed someone is listening in through one of the officers.
It's not even. There's a moment of pause. Who?
Copper Dragonborn, second lieutenant.
You see, she kind of
Do I need to take care of this or not?
on a natural 20, like, she is actually inquiring to you, like, in your conversation while this mental, there's not even a blink when you,
Yeah. So I've been sitting here the whole time, just kind
actually, Lieutenant Renbex, you see that Copper Dragonborn snap to, yes, Commander, you may have some information on this, as he just kind of steps up, holding his, how can I be of service, sir, for Commander? He goes, ask him and see perhaps your inquiries.
Young brother.
Rinbex is his name. Rinbex, Rinbex.
What kind of pendant is it? Like, you said it's gold chain type pendant thing. What does it look
Roll
like?
me a nature check.
Damn it.
You got a
You
dwarf
have a
among you.
better
This would be
shot
with
chance than
advantage.
me.
That's a 17.
It is. This looks to be like white gold. It fades into this kind of like pale yellow. There is a very stylized, like open dragon's eye, with a bit of almost like mithril or maybe platinum. A very beautiful piece. And the gemstone inside that setting is a topaz.
You shoot up to me. Just keep it.
I'm just relaying. Well, it's what we observed, and yeah. It's
Um,
kind of weird that a gold dragon would focus on a gem color of that kind.
Gold dragon. What do you mean?
Isn't he? You
He's
said
copper.
he's copper, sorry. But still, a metallic to focus so heavily on a specific gem
Is
color.
there a magical aura around him himself?
Roll me an Arcana check.
No, that I can't do.
Just over the ring, I'm gonna ask, do we want them to stop seeing us?
27.
You beat the DC of 25. There is a very powerful. Hang on, look up what school the spell's from.
Illusion.
Not illusion. A very powerful enchantment aura on this dragonborn.
Do you have spell?
It depends on what you want me to do. Do you want the thing off of his neck? Do you want him dead?
I
Can I
want
ask-
everything shut down.
Can I ask a question before y'all do something? And see his reaction.
Sure.
Okay. I'm trying to
Yeah.
place in real time.
So it's fine. You're
Okay.
I'm one level too short.
He's stepping up and they're firing off.
Yeah.
Young officer.
Rinbex, sir, Rinbex.
It is good to see young blood still. We were just curious as to. It's good to see you. Who else have you brought with you today?
Brought with me, sir.
And I'll point at his.
Oh, you mean my amulet? It's a family heirloom. My father passed this to me when I graduated.
I'm going to cast Wall of Force around him.
No, don't do
Are you going to do this subtly, or you want to?
Don't do that. I have ways of getting this.
Okay, I'll let you do
Okay.
Because
All right.
I'm just gonna sit back, like prop my feet up, do like someone has seen me do before, and just kind of look over at Montel, do this. And that now means that there's an invisible me that walks behind
Oh,
him
okay.
and leaves the image of me sitting like
Gotcha,
this.
gotcha. Oh, that's okay.
Mislead.
What is there? Is there any sort of component to that need?
No, it is literally somatic. That's why my somatic is this.
Okay. I will say with your training, there's no role required for stealth. As even though you never fully went the row, you can easily just kind of that kind of thing. It's a heirloom my father gave to me when I graduated from the academy into officerhood. Apparently, it's been in our family for generations. One of my he says on his mother's side there is a topaz lineage, and it was passed down. It's apparently a good luck charm for our family.
Very good luck charm. Apparently, you have someone looking through it with you.
The moment you say that, like your
I'm being very
cousin,
blunt about it.
your cousin, the commander, like they all stand, and he just is like, because you just basically said in this inner sanctum somebody is watching.
Traitor!
So as like people begin to stand, like he instantly just like very obvious looks of fear and
Do you mind taking it off?
what's I don't understand.
The necklace. Just take it off.
Okay.
Just slowly.
Okay.
Slowly.
So he begins to take the necklace.
I'm invisible, just sitting here like this.
That's an effective 34. And all of a sudden you see his eyes go wide with this intense blue light, and you hear in pure Draconic. The modern Draconic language, even the older Draconic language, is a derivative of what the dragons spoke. So when they say pure Draconic or old Draconic, this is what you're hearing. Even the more modern day dragons, say the adults down, they tend to speak the more modern Draconic. Rakara, the voice from this poor metallic dragonborn, is speaking the pure Draconic language. As you hear, I would prefer if you did not remove the necklace from him.
I would prefer if you made yourself known before, and I'll pull out the necklace, Saldor's chosen.
Yeah! And I'll give him advantage on whatever the fuck he's about.
You can see through magical darkness, correct? No.
Why
It's like
would I
inside.
care what a fool and his coward have to say?
Cool. We know the scrying's coming from the necklace itself, correct?
Yeah.
I cast darkness on the necklace because that's going to turn the scrying off because they see through the scrying, through the scryed object.
The problem is,
They can
it's
still hear
their sight.
I
And
know.
depending on what it is, it might still see through magical darkness.
Yeah, but there's the chance it cuts off its
fair.
sight.
That's fair.
That's fair.
As
I am a debilitator.
So as you cast, so how big is the sphere of darkness?
It's 15.
15. So as
Which means
this,
it's going to cover him, him,
Invisible me.
and
I'll maybe step up to him.
I will say that as the sphere begins to envelop, that you can take the choice to step back out of the way.
I'll step.
We're not in combat, so it's not like 10. You can just
I'm
take a step back.
Staying right here.
You just kind of hear. Good try, but a little bit of darkness never really impaired my kind.
What interest do you have in cowards and fools, then?
I have learned that it is best to keep an eye where things are happening. And this little metallic officer made himself useful to me, whether he knew it or not.
Someone want to inform me what RAR speech is going on around here right now?
Translating.
Okay, good.
You've got two translations going on at the same time.
I mean-
Default, if anything's happening in Draconic,
So by the way, like,
I'm translating.
What they're speaking to you is our feathern who art in heron, howun be that kind of language. You're able to pick it up, and they're kind of a quick translation. But you're translating Latin to English. There's some
There's some
We're
boss.
both doing two
Yeah.
rough translations, and you're getting it together.
From your countenance, what's the word? Countenance. Yeah, maybe countenance. Speech. I assume you have lived through one age, and now you see the Draconians rise again. It matters not to you what happens to this land. You live here.
I was born of the first. This world survived many cataclysms to this point. I survived by knowing when and where the cataclysms happened and not being there. I am amused at the return of the Dracons, but they don't have their previous power. The emperors lie dead. We still exist, though. So, no. While I do not care what happens, I find what is going on entertaining.
If you do not care, I hope that others of this we do care.
I'll drop to darkness.
My siblings are more nosy in their endeavors. I have always preferred a leave me and my ambitions alone. And not only will I leave you and yours, you may even prosper. Meddle in my affairs, and I will rain unholy hellfire upon you.
I do not intend to meddle in your affairs. You are not even honored outside. So why would? You do not care to be known. You're as good as dead.
I want you to roll me an intimidation check with advantage, Ricard. And take a point of inspiration for putting it together.
Spicy Ricard is great.
Let's see. Let's go with that. That's 24.
24. Okay. 24. To a 23. There's a moment, and even though it's the body of this metallic dragonborn that lunges forward, the motion is almost like a puppet.
Back of the head.
What?
Because
No, even when you make contact, like you feel it, like there's still his mind and body are not in control. There's something driving him. So it's essentially you're just hitting a meat puppet.
Cool, I need a wisdom save. Hold person.
You know, just let him do what he's supposed to do. Come on.
He's jumping.
Mm-hmm.
Let him jump.
He's feeling froggy.
That is going to be a 23.
Yeah. I figured I'd fail, but I'm at least going to throw out the attempt.
Well,
Fair.
now there's two Sondrens because that's regular invisibility.
Yeah.
So that's going to be fun to explain.
So
Oh, he's in darkness. Is he?
No, we got rid of
No,
he dropped
darkness.
the darkness.
Oh,
I dropped
it's just a moment of rushing forward until his snap's like, right, why would I care about being put on some damned tower? My siblings cared what you people thought of them. They believed that only with their leadership could the Dragonborn learn their true and rightful place within the world of Fetera. Me, I see you for what you are. Merely insects in a greater food chain.
insects we may be, but we still change the world.
This world has changed many times, Dragonborn. I have endured. My siblings have endured. Your ancestors lie dead.
who will be there to effect change in the future.
He kind of steps back.
You actually got a response from me. The ant provoked the god. Perhaps there is more to you than I expected. Rakara, forgotten. Let the two who are forgotten speak. Within the old city, you will find the way to me. Prove your worth, and I will be waiting.
And then you watch as the necklace shatters, and the Dragonborn just like collapses in front of you.
He's gonna have a real bad headache in the morning.
I'll make out a con save right now.
Finreal will check on him, check his vitals.
He's breathing. He's very ragged. Actually, on a 19 plus 5, he's kind of coming. He's like,
What happened? Who are? What's? Come on! What's going on?
Commander, will you? This is not my
roll me another Arcana check.
This is not my man, but please make sure he is taken care of. He has not been under.
Like
under
you
his
see, like
office.
every officer like standing, swords and weapons drawn.
31.
The DC was 30. When that amulet shattered, there was a constant enchantment effect. Modified memory had been kind of enchanted into him. So that's when it shattered. That is the spell that broke.
Now that that's over, and I'm gonna go sit down. Basically, the image and I, it's almost like a blur effect.
It's a speed.
It's like
boost.
we're in a 3D movie.
Yeah, that just slight of doesn't quite
For
line
what it's
up.
worth, Commander, I don't believe it was his doing.
Or
He's
malicious.
not going to remember anything.
Renbex,
Yes,
Didn't
yes,
think I hit him
Commander.
that hard.
what is the last thing you remember?
You ordered me for my first command to guard the supply wagon going to Creative City, Commander.
It was Renbex. It was over 2 weeks ago.
Commander?
Officers, take him to medical. Have the clerics check him out. Make sure there's no lasting effects from whatever happened to him. Oh, yes, Commander. They kind of gently pick him up.
It's 2 weeks. It was just yesterday.
It's all right, lad. It's all right.
Before he goes, just checking. You still had had the necklace on before.
What necklace?
You never remember wearing a necklace.
No, I don't own.
Minor illusion, the necklace in front of him.
It's-
You've never seen this before.
Natural one.
I don't.
Okay.
Just kind of like ease. And like even still, he's just kind of dazed.
What's good?
They just kind of ease him out of the room. You watch as Nero just kind of like staggers and sits. He goes,
2 weeks. We've had eyes on us for 2 fucking weeks. What is going on in my country? Who?
I'll put the necklace up. And did any other Dragonborn notice that? Or, yeah.
they were more focused on the apparent traitor in their midst. As she just kind of sits down, you watch as she looks. Torin, yes, Commander. Go over this place with a fine-tooth comb. If there's just a lizard that isn't supposed to be here, I want to know about it. Immediately, Commander. You two, with me. He grabs 2 of the other officers and they rush out. She goes, the rest of you, check with your squads. Any sort of abnormalities, any missing just now. Yes, Commander. They'll just rush out. She's just kind of sitting there leaning back in a chair. Her
head in her hands. She's just, by the scale, Father, what is going on?
You should call in the group that he
How
was
did?
leading the wagon.
Here's my
protection
question.
detail with.
How did no one notice that he had a piece of family jewelry all of a sudden 2 weeks ago?
He's one of our newer recruits. Literally 2 weeks ago was his, it wasn't even a real command. It was him and two other people that were leading a cart down to Crater City we're leading a cart back from Crater City with our supplies in it.
Where are those two other people?
Let me look.
Since I'm a halfling and I have halfling luck, do I get advantage on
You
this?
do not. This is world luck.
That would be interesting.
That would be weird.
That's a 9.
Unfortunately, those two did not survive the initial incursion by the orcs.
How long
so it might
ago
have
was
been
the
right.
incursion by the orcs?
A little under 2 weeks.
Do you know where they were buried?
They,
Or know somebody who knows where they were buried?
they would, their bodies would have been cremated, as is custom in a time of war.
Of course, I knew that.
When your military customs cause problems for getting answers.
You would, it's a similar matter of we don't have time or the place right now for a full, because their names were taken and record will be sent to Memorial Hall. If Memorial Hall still exists in the capital.
One thing at a time.
While we are on the topic of getting out people who should not be here, some of us discussed an idea of using some of the prisoner orcs released back into Greater City to spread rumors. Specific rumors. We need your permission, of course, for these. Just a few, not the whole lot, just a few.
I mean, I don't know what use it would be. There's no guarantee these orcs would return to the city. You have to remember they were captured by their enemy, by what they consider a weaker, lesser enemy. There's a chance that their own would kill them as likely as we would upon seeing them.
There's a chance, yes, we considered that, but it is just an idea, and war is war at this point.
You have my permission to speak with the prisoners and see if it would be I don't think it'd be as easy as what you maybe would hope it would be. But
I'm not saying that it's going to be easy.
I will send word to the dungeon master.
Oh,
Hey, yeah?
talk about the fourth wall.
Smash!
I will send word to the master at arms to allow you to speak with the prisoners. Trying to say dungeon keeper and master at arms, and it came out dungeon master.
We know what you meant.
Oh, I'll take a point of inspiration for myself with that.
I appreciate that, thank you.
I appreciate everything you've done. I don't know what's going on. A month ago, we were training cadets and recruits, and everything was all in right in the world, and the Scaled Senate, and now Trelot is on the literal brink of collapse. From what I understand, the only people holding it together sit within Zeralnash, and they are. I'm not even sure if they care about the South and what's going on down there now. If the Draconians have conquered the capital, if the Primarch has fallen, the chains of command are shattered.
Gem City still stands. Your fort still stands. There are undoubtedly, I hope, small pockets of resistance throughout the land.
I guarantee that across Kralot there are pockets of resistance, but to really mount a full, to push back and to bring our home back, we are going to need a true army. And with the garrisons in this capital, no telling what's their state and status, She kind of pauses for a moment, and then she actually looks up for the first time, noticing that among a dragonborn there stands a human, an elf, a halfling, see, I got it right, and a half-elf.
And a half orc.
Oh yeah, and a half-orc. Rakara, you have made friends of very different lineages. Perhaps that is what is needed. Our culture was one of isolation, one that only the Dragonborns could. Only Dragonborns know what's best for Karat. Only we could fulfill our destiny. Maybe that's what the problem is. I mean, I've received word that orcs have met with dwarven armies and are pushing back into Stornakor. The fact that what little have made it into Port Blaven and into Waldweir are being met with the Waldweiran army of various races. Sean looks around, hopefully, do any of you have contacts with anyone that we could...
Taken care of.
If you
Is on the way.
Thank you, dear.
if you can get a message to Perth, or
That's right, it's Perth.
it is
It's
okay.
Perth.
My brain went How to Train Your Dragons. For
Yeah,
a
because
second.
that is Dragon Rivers of Perth.
It's Burke.
Burke.
It's Burke.
Yeah.
But Pern is the okay, yes, and I took the inspiration. from
Okay,
it.
no, okay. I was just saying.
Dragon Riders of Pern.
Everything's derivative.
Yeah.
Why don't you speak with an Australian accent?
Because my character's been traveling for so long, they know how to hide it.
Also, Australian accent can
Nice.
get really wonky really
It's
fast.
canon. Everyone in Perth speaks an Australian accent then.
Well, there's Perth, Australia.
But if you can get a message there, I can maybe get some help from my brother. He's the next to marry the current princess, if I remember correctly.
Perth is on the other side of the world from us, the other side of this continent.
Yes, but if anything else, he may have some help that he could get favors from.
Real quick, out of gate. That's what I. So apparently, I do not understand my own
Distance.
distance system. The shattered continent, as it is only about the size of the lengthwise of the old Soviet Union. So when I told you it was weeks going from one to the other, it's only weeks to go from one end to the other. It's only about 3 or 4 days, and a week at most to cross the Clismic Sea. That was why time was not adding up, because I had misspoke.
Fair enough. Okay.
Yeah. So it would only take a few weeks to get there, but still it's weeks. And Port Blaven, via the route you have to take safely through the Clismic Sea, is 3 days. The short route's only about a day and a half.
But it's
You
going to
go-
be risky.
You go, you 99.99 repeating percent, your ship's going to sink.
Hit something.
Yeah.
Or something's going to hit it.
And it only takes 3 days via skyship as well. But yeah. So that was why my numbers were messing up.
Okay.
But my brother may be able to get some help from someone closer.
Very well. I do have access to several messenger ways we can send to Perth if they have, and if with any other place that we could perhaps send to request aid from.
We've contacted the wardens on Iltalas, and we are going to see what of the elven forces we can get up here. They've already sent one emissary.
As you speak, you feel in your pocket the acorn kind of resonate. And in that connection with Aldebark, you hear, he says, I have received a correspondence from Lady Daedra. The remaining dryads can send a small force through, but they will need trees big enough to do so. I did not see any of larger stature within our journey. Perhaps this is something you should mention, for the only reliable way now would be to move through the plans to get here, and even that is not guaranteed.
Thank you, Aldebark. Commander,
Yes.
I just received word from one of the emissary I mentioned. He has received word from Lady Daedra back on Ilthalas.
I meant to send this in Discord.
Okay. And some of the dryads from the Parliament of Trees can send a small force here to assist, but they will need large enough trees in order to bring them through. Is there anywhere that you know of that they can do that?
There are a few larger oaks further south of here. I suppose they could be moved closer, or perhaps if we could establish a perimeter around them. I believe there is a small grove of 6 large oak trees. They should perhaps work.
How large are they?
I think though they were planted. They were planted as a sign of peace between the the elves of Ilthalas and at the time Primarch Corpse, and I think that would make them 500 years old now.
I've touched the acorn. Is that large
That
enough?
should be fine. Because they're in a small grove in the mountains to the west of here, not too far, maybe a 3-hour journey, if that.
3 hour on foot?
On foot, yes.
My chair keeps going down.
God damn.
Do I need to take Alderbark there so that he can transfer that information to them, or?
There is a connection that he can send. He'll tell you that it will take some time to assemble the force, but and he tells you kind of with a happiness in his voice that Kerakes has been secured. Wardens and Wolven riders are chasing down the Draconians who pushed through and escaped into Ilthalas, but your city and your family are safe.
Thank you.
I will send this is Commander Sazek says, I will send a small expeditionary force into the grove to make sure that none of the trees are damaged and to secure it. If you wish to take this Alderbark to there, this would probably be best.
I can do that.
Very well. I don't know by province or insanity brought the 6 of you here.
Yes.
Both.
But so far you revealed a potential traitor in our midst. You have broken the siege that threatened to destroy this fort, and you have recovered, and she looks toward the opening into the sepulchre, an ancient artifact that has been literally forgotten by our people. Maybe the gods are crazy. Or maybe they depend on us more than people think.
I wish people stop saying that.
What? The gods are crazy? No, they are.
No, the other part.
Oh, fair.
Question out of game.
Yes.
Who was it that was told about the incursion at our home?
Port Blaven?
Yeah,
I was. And I told everybody.
you told everybody. Okay. And you translated the conversation that he was having with the.
For all of us.
Yeah.
They took us.
Okay. So we know that that individual stated that the Draconians are nowhere near as strong as they were
Before.
before.
That they do not have the chromatic emperors guiding them.
Okay.
That was pretty much these were 5 ancient, at that time, ancient dragons that led this Drakon Empire.
Okay.
I believe you said one time there was like 1 or 2 confirmed killed,
The red one is known to be dead.
and the rest just vanished.
And I think it was the red and the red and the blue are known to be dead. The other 3 just vanished.
Assumed to be dead.
Assumed to be dead.
But-
One for sure. The blue one's assumed. Because like the red one literally corpsed in his like it was killed by the rebellion. The blue one is thought to have been dead, but the other 3 are thought to still exist somewhere, and they were ancient 1,000 years ago.
So, more ancient.
So
They're getting to worm.
now this will be
Yeah.
It's a
back.
getting.
This will be back in game.
Yeah.
Why is a weakened force like the Draconians splitting their attacks among so many different targets?
We've already pitched an idea about that.
You said it's
Nathaniel had mentioned the idea of just spreading chaos to cause distraction.
Now, why are they causing distraction? I'm not sure.
Right. Are they creating distractions, or are they the distraction
And I think we
being used?
Why not both?
Because we know that they don't have the leaders that they used to have. Why would they come up all this time later in a weakened state?
Is something is
Someone
stepped
or
into that.
something is
They-
directing them.
And they believe they have the advantage, even though they don't.
Correct.
I have told everyone before, I'm saying it again, I don't know how much of a hand he has in this, but the Arcanist has a hand in this somehow. When last we saw him, when he had most of us frozen, save for Kieran, he told me privately, telepathically, what do you want to call it, he would be seeing my father soon. And a few days later, I scryed on him and saw him imprisoned. I don't view him to be a liar in that sense.
The tactics don't match, though. Any good general throughout history, you, as a soldier, would know this. The commander here would know this. Their tactics don't change that drastically from battle to battle. They may change some depending on the location and the situation, but for a good part, they're going to keep a very similar style and mentality. Everything we've dealt with the Arcanist was not chaos sowed elsewhere to draw attention away. There were experiments dropped off in places to see what would happen. Tests done to see how far he could push something. But never just chaos for the sake of chaos. And never, in all honesty, a distraction against what he was doing. He's too full of himself to believe he would need a distraction.
Everything was a means to an end.
Charisma check. Add proficiency if not proficient. Well, it's just a check on 7, but just add your proficiency bonus.
18 plus 5, math.
23.
23.
AC was 20. Rikara, there is a warmth that fills you and a familiar voice. Look to the starry sky.
Starry sky.
Remember who you are.
I have no idea what that
Oh, that was Mufasa. What I did.
That's what you were told. Look to the starry skies.
I mean, I'll kind of mutter that under my breath. I'm sure he would catch it.
Yes, Mr. DC of 30 passive perception.
Look, stop making fun of my radar dash ears.
Here's the thing. This part I will make apparent to you, Ricardo, because you beat the DC of 20. You first arrived, and then a few hours later, at the local noon, is when the initial happened. You were in a northern mountain range, blizzardly. You never saw the night sky. You stepped out onto the plateau just after daybreak, and then you rode up for about 8-9 hours. Then you assaulted the force, and you went inside the keep where you slept. You have yet to look at the night sky since returning to Kralot. None of you have.
Okay.
You've all been either inside or out during the sunshine. You've never seen the unabated night sky.
What time is it?
At this point, you're going to be about 7, 8 o'clock at night.
And when?
7, 8 o'clock at night.
I thought it was like daytime.
Did I miss? I thought everything happened was like getting toward the latter part of the afternoon.
It's fine right now.
And then
Whatever time you say it is, bro. That's fine.
Look, you in charge here. You the time master.
I thought like we took
I
a
don't-
long rest and all that, but okay. That's
I
fine.
don't keep it
I
count.
thought like you took a long rest during the day of them, and as like around.
Yeah.
No, we took the long rest at night because that was part of the thing.
Oh, okay.
I stayed up. I ended up waking up and hearing the ant conversation
Yeah.
because Grim couldn't sleep
Got
that
you.
night.
Okay, so at this point, then yes, you're getting into the latter part of the afternoon.
Okay.
So in about 6 hours, the sun will set. 5, 6
So
hours.
about the time when that blizzard should be hitting.
There's the blizzard in the north moving in. Yes.
Can you guys control weather?
Sadly, no.
I left those pants at home.
But what I will be doing is right about now I'm going to stand up. Well, I'm going to be going to talk to people. I'm going to go see if anyone's houses was built over these mines, and if any of them have a basement that might connect to it. Would any of you like to join me in this?
When is that force setting out to the south?
She says as soon as we finish here, so within an hour, it takes. We give them an hour to gather supplies. So within 2 hours, they will be setting out.
Any objections to me going
None
with
here.
that?
Nope.
How far? How long of a travel is that?
On foot, about a 3-hour travel.
3 hour there, 3 hour back, time there.
But Finn will be with others.
Yes.
Yeah, so you're looking at
I won't be
it's-
alone, and I'll have set with
It's
you.
a part where,
6.5.
like, an older part of the mountain has kind of pushed up into like a small rocky hillock. That's where this grove is.
I just wanted to speak to Commander for a second.
It's just fine. She's still there.
well, I leave out.
Okay.
That's our cue. I guess I'll go with Nathaniel.
Okay.
Look at you.
I don't want to roll an intelligence check first. 5 plus 5, 10. Yep, I'm with him.
Okay. As you leave, because you have stated you have the goggles down.
Mm-hmm.
As you step out, I want you to roll me a perception check with advantage through the goggles. And we come back to you now, Ricardo. What's up?
Perception.
I'm so sorry.
I will pull out the sending stone we got way back when
Yeah.
it connects to Captain Ella.
Yep.
Alright. And I will say to Commander Sason,
Sazak.
I know there's been a lot of turmoil, horror to say. Hopefully I can offer maybe a little bit of hope to you. And then I will activate the stone.
Okay.
And to Captain Ella, I will say, hope everything is all right. Are you at the estates? Can you hand this to Gola, young, white, dragonborn?
18.
The response you get is at shipyards, Gola with Haggerty at estate. Sam is a fucking genius. Skyship inbound.
Got all of ours.
You're not here.
Glad to hear from you. She was very worried. That should be 20.
That is 23.
23. We're coming. On a natural 20 roll for our dear Sam, you'll see what she did.
Okay.
Sam is the best.
I am now so concerned.
So concerned? What? It's not like she strapped a bunch of C4 rockets to the back of the airship.
You have no idea.
Flying's not the problem.
It's landing.
Anything can fly.
So, what was that spoken out loud through? Huh?
That is done
That's
through.
the
It
sentence,
resonates through the stump.
So Captain would have. Commander would have heard that.
You could have had.
You would have had to translate it because
Okay,
it goes
um,
to you.
What does she mean? The skyship. The ones we've received word of is that the skyships have all fallen. They're
Well, I have a very special. I want to slip into Draconic for a moment, and like I've been looking at words for this.
okay.
Something like gem of horde or special gem, something of that. Special,
The pride of the horde.
something like that.
Okay. We
A
can
word like that.
we can work with that.
I'll say that word.
Okay.
Friend. And very smart. And apparently she has, anyway, Gola is fine. I was trying to get into contact with Gola for you.
She kind of smiles. Thank you. I'm glad that my niece is still doing well.
But apparently more help is on the way. So I will take my leave.
So with that, she just kind of stands, nods to you Finnegan before leaving to go assemble. Finnegan, what did you roll?
Can I use Arcana since this is specifically looking for magic?
How bad was it? Not to look.
It's not that bad. Like it's pretty much what I had earlier,
Okay. I'll tell you what,
but I could do much better.
I will allow you to go Arcana, but because of that aspect, I will raise the DC.
That matters to him
Do
for
I still get the
Arcana.
advantage?
You still have the advantage.
Okay.
That
I'll
matters
take
to
that.
him
Okay.
with Arcana.
That matters to him the same way it would matter to him with perception.
30.
That was the DC on the dot.
Oh,
Okay.
man.
So,
The man can clear
Like
35 right now.
had you just stepped out and looked up, you'd have seen almost like vast wispy clouds just seem to kind of carry off from the horizon. They move against the wind and against the normal flow of the clouds. On a 30, you see the physical impression, so to speak, of the ley line being stretched across the sky to the southwest of you. Whereas normally the magic ley lines are very fluid and moving, magic radiating in and out of them, this is like something has grabbed it and has pulled it
It's tall.
taut. Yeah.
Have we discussed anything that's to the southwest of us?
You have not, I don't believe.
The most we know to the southwest of us is the gem city.
Southwest?
Yeah.
North, south, east, well, yeah.
Southwest is the gem city.
What's on the map that he was given? What's on the map that you were given?
The mines
The
underground.
mines underground of Crater City.
That's it.
Yeah, because
From the direction of like the angle of arc,
Yeah. that makes sense.
Crater-
Okay.
Crater City is more of a direct south. This is like southwest.
Like how southwest are we talking? South by southwest, west by
Give
southwest,
me a moment
or
to pull up the
straight
map.
southwest.
I will let you know.
Yeah, I'm looking at the map currently.
Yeah.
Has Ricard came out yet?
Okay, we're up there.
Sure.
Ricard, what's to the southwest?
Everything.
I mean,
Yes, the entire continent.
basically
technically.
everything.
The
You
entire continent is
you
in
need to
the
be more
southwest of where we
specific.
are. We
are at the very tip.
we're right here,
Mm-hmm.
and this is southwest.
Thank you for the very specific information I received on my 30.
Give me a moment.
He is working on it.
Alright, come on, Google Drive and give me a moment here.
You
you
could have
working
just
on the
gone to
phone?
Discord.
Well, that's the thing. The Discord
Oh,
on
you
this
have-
is weird. 'Cause I have easy on this.
I do have a question while you're looking that up.
Yes.
The map I was given, does it have the street names that are above the
No,
mine?
but it has symbols on it that
Mhm.
represent the building or the area near it.
Okay, good. I just need to know that. That way I can be asking about specific areas. Because I need to find people who are here that have been in these areas to see if anyone knows of any good places to pop into.
Okay. Zero Nosh is the capital?
No.
That's the city. The capital is the one part of the southern one.
Oh, the gym capital city is
Ooh.
what? I thought Zeranosh was the gym capital.
It's not a capital, quote unquote, so to speak. The capital is the city to the south. Here we go. I found it.
But it's the gym's like ruling
Yeah, it's like their capital, so to speak,
Okay.
quote unquote. Okay, so
state government versus federal
Yeah.
government.
essentially. All right, so you are currently just above the Orcrad crater at Fort Corst.
Yep.
That line is far to the southwest, in the direction that he will tell you of the Roaring Vale.
Convenient.
Which is there.
Yeah. Between the Strakir Mountains and the Colfair Spot.
Okay. So the Adigan Forest is down there.
Yep.
Zarnir Lake, Harlgost.
Which Ricard would be very familiar with Fort Holgost, or the city of Holgost.
I will tell Finnegan, Roaring Vale is where I was supposed to meet my contact this morning. I believe.
How long would it take us to get there?
A good while.
Krillot is about the size lengthwise of the United Kingdom. So you're essentially in Scotland. That's probably about northern Wales.
So a few hours if we had good transportation, but it is snow, so it would be difficult travel. So it
You're
may
looking
be
at
a day.
most on foot in perfect condition, a couple of days, if that. It'd probably take you about a week to walk from the top of Krillot down to the bottom. Kind of what made Krillot so militarily effective is that they could depose their forces as quickly as needed.
What's on your mind?
So by the way, I call these continents. The main continent is the shattered continent.
Yeah.
It's just because these are subcontinents they're referred to.
It's easier to refer to them as that.
The
This is probably a little bit bigger than Mississippi and Tennessee.
that's the direction that the ley line is being pulled to.
What's beyond?
Are you referring to the Dragon Spire on the island off the coast there?
So if we go beyond the Roaring Vale, it hits the lake,
Zarnir Lake.
right? What's the lake that you told me that the
The ancient,
Draconian- That
Capital
ends the bottom-
City?
Is that it?
It's at the bottom of Zarnier Lake. It's the deepest lake in Kralot.
Can I make that connection without having to know anything?
I'll give it to you. You spent a lot of
Because
time.
that
You
direction.
grew up in the Vale. That was where your father's main. So yeah, I will say that it was often a joke, that you would the best place to hide things was the basically, you could never get to the bottom of Zarnier Lake. You can. It's just very, very deep. That lake is probably about the size of Lake Erie in size wise. Probably a good couple miles deep.
Then again, this ley line is probably not pointing towards the Vale. It's probably pointing towards a lake where a city once stood. That would make more sense to me.
And what was this city?
I
The
don't
city
know.
was called Zarnier.
Zarnier, the ancient Draconian city.
It's all coming together.
Everything coming up.
And I've already walked away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you do see your halfling friend. He's kind of standing there, like mouth a little bit agape, eyes wide, as he's staring through his lenses at the little afternoon-day sky.
Yes, but you also got to remember that sounds like a him problem, not a me problem. And right now, I have to make sure a plan that I'm actively trying to make correct.
Yeah.
We can discuss all that over the ring. Like I could have been
Are you nearby?
walking.
Or did you walk off?
Well, I walked out with him. He stopped and was looking up,
So
and
to
I'm
give-
like,
To give you like an approximate, Kralot is about the size of it's about the size of Great Britain. Ilthalas is probably a little bit bigger than Wisconsin. These are just large state size. Felmont, which includes Stornacor, Waldweir, Nasoria, and the Arctaran Verge, is probably, to give it a close, go from border to border of Montana to Texas. So it is a large, what was once a large continent, but when the comet, when the meteor hit and shattered it, it pushed a lot of it up to smaller pieces.
to give you reference, I'm probably like 30, 40 feet away, walking towards the lieutenant and captain's dining hall.
Again.
Officer's quarter. Officer's
Officer's mess.
Yeah.
I wanted
Yeah.
to ask you a question, but I know in case anybody else had anything.
Anything else?
Fenrir is going to go see if he can
Help
look
expedite.
at a current map of Kralot.
Yep.
For general layouts, where the different geographical locations are. Make sure he's fresh and has the most up to date information.
At your request, because the commander says that kind of spoke, at your request, the cartographers will give you this map. So you will have a copy of this map.
Beautiful.
Also, as you're prepping, you notice one thing. A familiar female emerald dragonborn is also being assigned to the recon squad.
He doesn't show it on his face, but he's very pleased.
Okay.
She kicked his ass the other day.
Oh,
Grace with her.
I was like, is this backstory information? What's Grim going to say?
Grim has no concern because Finn is not hit.
All right.
On your map, is there any indication where the memorial is?
I would assume so.
The what?
The memorial.
Like this
There is a large central building.
Mhm.
mausoleum, I guess, would be the best
That would
word
be
for it.
that one, from what I'm understanding. There's a lot of
Yeah.
in the map in game. There are symbols to denote where places
Yeah,
are.
I actually have that map, and I put it in a folder with new character sheets for everybody to kind of help you update them. I put it in this folder so I would not forget it,
Forgot the
and I
folder.
forgot the folder.
Well,
I'll make sure to bring that. I've got brand new character sheets, kind of help because I know the ones you have are kind of getting filled up with stuff and just cluttered. So yeah.
Minus
Same.
But yeah, the actual one, the copy that I made is handwritten draconic symbols on it. It has numbers, and it gives a little bit of, like a little more information to what the. But yeah, if you look at the map there on the right hand part of the crater, that kind of taller building that sits kind of among it, right where that
That's where we are.
that long mine, that's the memorial. You're up at the top where that symbol for the tower is.
We
Oh,
Yeah.
drop the map.
we are up here, and you said the memorial is dead center.
Well, no, so if you look at the map,
Mm-hmm.
on the right side of near the crater wall,
Mm-hmm.
there is kind of a taller building that sits up.
Okay, that one.
That's
Got
less of a memorial. That is in the, you would know, in the old empire, that was where the master of the city, that was his house. When the rebellion happened and the Dracan Empire fell, that became like the town center. That became the government seat.
And then when Kralot died.
And then when Kralot died, that is where the memorial to him was built. But he was actually buried at the fort, which is where he spent the majority of his life, where he was actually born.
Okay, and question about. So we are in the fort that is on the top right hand
Correct.
corner.
Yep.
Correct.
What is the fort that is on just the right side?
Those are two watchtowers. There's one on the right and left hand side.
Yeah, okay. I was just wanting to double check that.
Those are just ancient guardian towers that were there when that was still a mining city.
Okay.
They were built essentially to just keep watch.
Are they still there?
They're still there. They have been repurposed. That was where you saw at the base with the group of orcs. That is their main. That is the dugout path leading into the crater city. Otherwise, you'd have to either go across the top, or if you're lucky enough to have a map of it, through the mines.
Okay.
And they call it a mine. A mine.
Well, I'll be asking officers about if they know any specific buildings that have had problems with the floors collapsing into any of these old mines that are on number 7 and 4.
Roll me a persuasion check.
Be sure to ask officers to ask their men to.
Well, this is also me just asking, hey, do you know anyone who lived in these areas and things like that? Any advantage or anything from me getting along with
Sure,
them
I'll give you
earlier?
advantage. I'll have advantage. Yeah.
Well, I'm just asking
That's fair,
because
that's fair.
I did take that time to do that.
You did. I'll allow that. Yeah.
Cool, good. 28.
28. To their collective
Or
20.
22, my bad.
To their collective 21. So still just close numbers. You're kind of like you speak because you speak Draconic, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. Like I remember a few years ago we had to.
What was the name of that tavern where the entire bottom part of their wine cellar collapsed? Oh, the Shattered Tusk. I love that place. You always had all the different like memorabilia and such. Yeah, always claimed it was where Kralot had his first drink after ascending to Primarch. Yeah, that would be. And on the you asked him to show it on the map.
Yeah.
So he points. He goes, "Oh, I think it's where number 7 ends at. It goes right underneath it."
Perfect.
That was it was right there. Apparently there was an old wooden and stone cap that just as more weight was put in with the wine barrels, it literally just fell through and hundreds of gold's worth of damage. We had to go in and reinforce, and there was actually a metal capstone there with stout stone legs holding it up. Let me see here. How loose are these guys in trusting you? Keeping your original persuasion. This time that is only a 15. One kind of goes, man, I hate to think what would happen if those stones ever gave out. That's why they're reinforced with a little bit of adamantine. Remember, the owner paid for that. So you could break it, but it would take a lot of force. It's probably not going anywhere. Why do you want to know all this?
Going to go in and try to get your men out. We're going to try to go through the mine as much as we can.
Glad I'd be careful. I do remember that it wasn't just engineers we had to send down there. We had to send a guardian force. There was something big living down there.
Good, then maybe I can draw some of them in behind me.
Oh, the guardian force.
I remember I remember that we had that the sapphire dragon the dragonborns were very adept at keeping it at bay.
Or just over the ring, hey, what do sapphire dragons use again?
I don't know off the top of Ben's head. Carl would know.
Na, 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 na.
Look, it's real simple. Emerald is psychic. Topaz is
Necrotic.
necrotic. Crystal is radiant.
Amethyst. Is force.
Amethyst is force. And what's the other? It's thunder. It's thunder damage.
Which in D&D terms is sonics or sound.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, they're screaming.
Under.
So I'm gonna make you roll for it, Monto. You understand, especially because of your training with the things.
The things and the stuff.
You know that means that whatever lives down there is probably very weak to like sonic bombardment, to loud noises. Meaning it probably is blind and moves and lives by a sound. Which is
Fine.
also why you would put the legs, instead of just like sealing up entirely, the legs would keep limited sound from reverberating down through the stone.
That's
Perfect.
Well,
Anyway.
but by the way, I don't know if we've got more coffee over there. If you'd like to have some, I remember how you were very attached to it last time.
Well, do you know how to make the perfect cup of coffee even with mediocre things?
Lad, as long as it wakes us up and keeps us going, we don't care if it tastes like tar.
Maybe so, but a little bit of luxury in a hard time is still a good thing. And I'm just going to show him how to make the perfect cup of coffee out of this.
Sure. With that, you go roll me a performance check with advantage because it's coffee based.
Yep.
sure that you do.
14.
It's not your best work,
I'm
But it's-
working with limited.
but it's better than what
ingredients.
they've had. I'll give you that.
Look, I do my best work under stress, so.
All right. So while that's happening, Finnegan, as you just come in and stand there looking up, realizing what is happening, and the ley lines are physically being torn and pulled somewhere. What do you do?
Makar. Where would I find books on the history of Draconian?
I had started to wander off this morning.
Empire.
What? Oh. Books. You were in the library, I think. So.
Fort Archives.
Sort of.
I mean, that's the best.
I got distracted.
That's the best here is the library. The name you gave me, was that here?
Yagal, yeah. Yagal is the Silver Dragonborn. He is the head archivist.
Am I aware? Do I know what he looks like?
Yeah, you've been to him a couple times.
Minor illusion. It's like 5-foot cube of maybe a little bit small, but
He's
his likeness and
he isn't even when you were here. He was starting to reach into like elderly age. So he had a bit of a stoop to him. His scales were a bit dull. Walked with a cane, but still very, very keen mind and sharp-eyed, sharp tongue too. And you can easily make the illusion and tell them where the archives are.
yeah, but seek out Ugal and be mindful about what you say. He's very quick-witted. Sharp.
Always a consummate professional. And I'll walk away.
All right, Sergeant, where are you currently?
Just kind of wandering, observing, staying out of people's way. Nonchalant.
Okay.
And that's what his illusion is doing.
So anyway.
What is it really you doing?
There's no illusion. No?
So just tell you what, roll me a luck roll.
That's 5.
Okay, nothing happens on that. So with that, it is 8 o'clock. We'll take our break and we'll come back with you as in the archivist and you heading toward the small grotto where those large oak trees are.
stick around, folks. If you have any questions for us, we'll be glad to answer them. We'll take a quick 20-minute break. So we'll keep us at 8:20. We will be picking back up. So we'll be right back. Stick around.
Basically just like.
I do find it funny though that
You play
it's-
drums? You play
I played the snare drum in 6th grade.
I know
Then
he
they
plays.
then they wanted me to learn how to play
Fine.
the bells, and I was like, that's too much
Oh,
shit.
they give that to the people who don't.
No, I'm done. Let me go to PE now.
But no, you gotta give me credit. Nathaniel was told he had to keep himself alive for this. He is trying. Gathering information. I'm gonna see
You know
if we
what?
can
I will go investigate that for you.
go investigate what.
See what's currently the project on the 3D printer.
Huh.
They're nuts in the back. I should go find it this way.
Hope everyone at home is having a lovely day. I
Oh, this is what this is a mimic cup. Mimic cup. Is that what Bob is using?
Are you answering the questions and such?
No,
No!
no. I told everybody I hope they're having a wonderful day.
You're the one left in here right now. It's your job to answer questions.
I don't have any of those apps on my phone.
Hypocrite.
Well, I mean, I have YouTube, but
I was about to say.
Alright. So, to answer the question, the current project on the 3D printer is one of these. It is a mimic cup. It is not available on the website, but if you message the Hive in Macomb on Facebook or on Instagram, you can arrange to have one shipped to you.
There it is.
Here is an unpainted one.
Unpainted one.
Are you on TikTok or Twitch?
really like. the
I'm
unpainted
on TikTok at the moment. On
Cool.
that.
I'm on Twitch
They
now.
look so good.
Just so
Like,
people know.
I'm gonna need these. They've also, because they've got the bigger ones too that you can slide, because those are sized right. So like if you have like a
A
can,
regular
a can drink,
In there.
it just slides in. So like you disguise the logo of that, and then there's the bigger ones like this one. That
Like
is
the one
large
Muffet
enough
has?
for like one of those larger energy drinks, like one of the big monsters and stuff like that. They are perfect.
See, but here's the real question: can we get one for?
What if I wanted to just drink from this? Could I do that? No.
Well, I mean, it's resin.
I mean, you clean
So,
out
like-
the insides well enough.
Depends on if you seal it. I wouldn't recommend it.
Okay.
But hey,
But
mechanical
you could
ribbon.
coat the inside of it with some sort of cup making thing. I'm not a crafter person. Well, like I do costumes. I don't do like physical stuff.
See, what we need though is we need one to be able to fit the BFC, the monsters BFC.
So what they can do, like if it's a size problem, they can scale the size.
I know.
They're also doing different class specific ones. Like there's this huge paladin one that looks fantastic. And I've seen
Tired of
the
sinking.
warlock one. I think. I haven't seen a barbarian one yet, but I definitely need a barbarian one.
Which one? The
Class cups.
I've seen the rogue. The rogue looks really cool. It's got like lockpick kits and
The
everything.
paladin one's really nice too, with the big wings.
Oh yeah.
So chat was wanting to know what's been going on 3D printed the whole time.
Oh.
So I fetched Missy and I got one of the completed ones, painted and unpainted.
Oh,
so we
cool.
showed.
Yeah. Also, I was shown the DM's cup, which is
I haven't
really
seen
cool.
the DM's cup yet.
It's like a castle tower. It sits on a dice. There's a dragon handle for it. It looks real cool.
Guess who's a DM at this shop and needs one of those? Also you.
Moffat.
Yes, definitely don't drink straight out of the resin.
No. That's the thing. These don't have the food safe glaze. That's why they have for the
That
cans
was
and such.
my question.
Yeah.
So,
Unfortunately, not. These are just the resin printed.
alright. Any questions or anything so far? Well, Mechanical Raven asked how we all are doing tonight. I gave a
Pretty
thumbs
good.
up.
Trying not to die.
I'm
So,
learning to actually make plans
since
where I
you
don't
two-
die.
Are back on the game.
Uh-huh.
Shadow raids started this week.
Okay.
I don't
You're
know
not
what that is.
Someone hand me into this light speaking.
Team Rocket.
Oh, they're back.
Oh, can I join Team Rocket?
If only.
No.
And a napkin too, please.
Well, then why are we playing it?
You can cosplay as Team Rocket.
Yeah, I'm doing that.
Thank you.
But so when you battle them, they use Shadow Pokemon.
Oh, wait, no, I've done like 2 of those.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Shadow Pokemon are going to be in raids starting tomorrow, I think.
Yeah.
You coming out?
And Saturday and Sunday,
Mewtwo.
Mewtwo, Shadow Mewtwo will be available.
Okay, so I really need a Mewtwo.
So if you
Yeah.
can send me the invites, I can join remotely.
Nope.
They've done away with that.
They
haven't
are in the. I know specifically the Mewtwo ones are in person only. I don't know about the rest of the Shadow raids.
See,
Well,
I
I will
can't-
be in town.
That's part of the
here
problem. I've
in
got too much
home.
other stuff to go run around
Right,
doing
like
raids. That's the
Sundays and Tuesdays are the only days that I can really.
I will never forget. I
Now,
found
most of the other raids are you can still use the remote
passes.
raids on
Okay.
the remote raid
Yeah.
passes.
So because it popped up on my Facebook, the thing that because it was the weekend of your and Shelby's wedding, that I sent the comic that, dearly beloved, we are gathered here together to catch this Mewtwo. And it's just like everybody going crazy. I'm like,
Yep.
yes.
I
Yep.
am going too fast.
Let's
But,
see.
You're what?
I'm going too fast. I had to tell it that I was
Alex
a
Everard,
passenger.
thanks for the like.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Like I can't help it that I have the ADHD. Okay, fine.
It,
Box.
you know
Let
what?
me catch
Nathaniel's
the
had
cow.
great character development. Going from
Apparently.
almost getting himself killed because he doesn't plan to overly trying to plan.
Oh yeah.
Actually, I'm
We
level
haven't hit a middle
25.
ground.
I thought I
Brendan,
was a
join.
single
Hello.
digit.
Thank you for joining us.
There's the thing. I don't know what page you need to be on.
Oh.
I just hit friend.
I know how to friend.
Friend of a friend of a friend?
You could just go to the QR code and scan it.
That's what I'm doing.
Swipe.
We're taking our quick little break for the evening before we jump back into it. Anybody on Twitch?
I am.
Yes.
Any questions on Twitch?
None so far.
We're all on Twitch.
Actually, I want to bring up YouTube and see if there's anybody on
Come
there
on.
as well.
Let me do
That's just why I've been standing up as well.
Fair enough.
Because
Did it
if
kinda
I
hurt?
don't, my knees are gonna. Next time I stand up, gonna be popping.
Hey, the Southern GM's live.
Hey.
I'm glad
Ricky,
he's DMing.
Are you the beef? Okay.
What's that from?
It's a long story. I'll tell it off there.
Okay.
Well, we have, not myself, we have three other people watching.
Nice.
Yeah, so the fact that this can
You're
mimic
great.
a lot of the phone apps means I can go into this, pull literally the night as soon as we get done, I can go in, pull the TikTok video, flip it, edit it, and then have it prepped to start going into YouTube like tonight. And that way, Chaos Media has the little bit better quality microphone than my phone has to pick it up. It doesn't have as much of a fuzz to it.
Yeah.
Raven, please ask all the random questions. It gives me a reason to speak.
So to answer your question, Rakara, the word for your beloved Sam, she is your retios, which is a derivative of the Latin preciosum for precious or jeweled one.
I was looking through the 3.5
Yeah.
Dragonomicon with the words.
Retios. Because for me, like I built the draconic, the dragonborn culture on like the ancient Roman and Greek. So retios.
If we were still in the room when that happened, Fenrir did not translate that part.
Gotcha.
So, Mechanical
We
Raven
gave it
asked,
respect.
what color is magenta?
Kind of a purplish red.
So
Yeah, that's a good
I'm
way to-
colorblind with the reds, so it's just another red.
I'm having to remember what color magenta was on Blue's Clues.
Yeah.
That was kind
It's
of
actually.
Kind of a pinkish red, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Jacob Kearns, hello.
yeah, it's a
welcome.
purpley red.
So, Raven, I'm going to change the question slightly because they asked, what's your favorite soup? What's your character's favorite soup? Yeah, character's favorite.
I have foods for this world. If you want to describe something, I will tell you what the name of it is.
Because
Very simple soups.
The very simple thing that his mother would make whenever he was sick or sad, which was a lot.
Okay.
which one, the sadness or the sickness?
Yeah.
Just yes.
Little emo baby.
There is essentially a type of chicken noodle, but instead of it being very, very thin in the broth, it's almost like a stew, where it is not a like, what's the name of
Is it more like a chicken and dumplings texture?
Exactly, yeah, more like chicken and dumplings texture. But it's not as
Heavy.
It's not as heavy. It contains some sort of poultry. It's a mixture of think a gnocchi, like a gnocchi dumpling, but it's not as like matted. It's very, very light and fluffy, with a little bit of usually some like leek and parsley in it. A very simple soup.
See, Nathaniel's isn't. Nathaniel's is a soup just made out of.
Whatever cake you want to make, Night Rain. I enjoy very simple cakes. So just that whatever cake is fine.
Nathaniel's, funny enough, is just everyone in his squad would pull all of their rations together and would just make a soup out of that.
Yep.
So
Lone
it's
Star
just the
to
crock
Finreal.
pot type soup.
Did his mom sing "Soft Kitty" while he was giving you the soup?
Soft kitty, warm kitty, little ball of fur.
Like you like soft
Yes.
displacer, warm displacer, purr, purr, purr. Crystal Ann, thank you for joining us. Hello.
Yes. I'm a tomato soup person.
I think Ricardo would have been more rice.
Okay.
Rice probably been
Because
Uh,
I get my pocket hooked on his chair.
So a very common one for you, a rice dish actually is be a chicken rice and mushroom dish. It's actually a very popular halfling type dish called mudcaps and maggots.
Feels a little disrespectful.
I will actually make it for y'all one day if you want me to. It's like a chicken and rice, but it's almost like a jambalaya texture, and it's chopped mushroom caps and a little bit of seasoning, that kind of stuff.
So, wearing the kilt has made me realize how much weight I have actually lost. Because this thing is a whole size different than whenever I got
When
it.
you got
Chocolate
measured for-
swirl is fine, Night Rain. Thank you.
The answer is yes, Night Rain.
So,
Yes.
because I said yes, ask your random questions, Mechanical Raven, we have random questions. Like, do you have different silverware or dishes that you dedicate to specific tasks? Like the ice cream spoon or the hot chocolate mug?
Mm-hmm.
I have my special mug I use for tea because it's a specific size, and I know that when I make hot tea, that's the size I want.
Yes.
Hot chocolate, I have the same way because it has a specific pour to it and the way it holds and keeps the heat in because it's got a little higher and closed off rim to
For
it.
hot chocolate, I originally bought it at like a thrift store. It's this like it's like a Harry Potter cauldron mug. That's really cool. They were made. They were actually when you bought one, you also got this little thing of like a mug cake that you can make with it, so it's different. But it's really good for like hot chocolate. I used to have a specific cereal bowl that was my grandfather's. I don't know what's happened to it, but I have one of those spoons made with a straw.
Yes.
Oh my god.
I still have. Do you remember when I think it was Kellogg's was doing the bowls?
Yes.
That had the straws in it.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I wish I
So-
still had some of those.
I still have those.
I have
Makes me feel
a.
old.
No, you want me to make you really feel old?
I really
5
don't.
minutes, guys.
I have. Do you remember when Quaker Oats put out the oatmeal that had dinosaurs' eggs in it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You sent off enough of them, you got the dinosaur bowl that would change color with heat.
You did.
I still have
Oh
it.
God.
What you got?
I have a square Tupperware. I do not know where the lid is, so it is my ramen dish because it is the perfect size
Right
for
size.
the square ramen. Just set it in,
Yeah.
put it in water.
And it's got all the seasoning already in the bottom.
It's like a cast iron bowl.
So Smucker's Jelly
Uh-huh.
put out a thing of the glass jar, but it was dinosaurs.
Mm-hmm.
And I still have those. And my little nephews, they come over to visit. That is their glasses. One wants the Velociraptor, one wants the Triceratops. That is their glasses. Nobody else can use them.
Whenever I make coffee, I have to use the metal cups. I mean, I like coffee, I like drink coffee, but it takes me I take long to drink coffee. So if I put in a regular coffee cup, it goes cold.
See,
So I don't
that's
usually
just how you
use
get
a coffee
iced
cup.
coffee.
I don't like, I mean, no,
Look, if I'm drinking coffee, it's gotta be hot.
Yeah.
exactly.
I'm not a big coffee drinker.
I'm the type of ADHD who will be playing video games, forget they have a drink, and then just drink it because
Believe it or not, I drink coffee to relax. Like coffee calms and lowers my.
I drink Monsters for the same reason.
You are a monster.
Yes,
You
yes, I
realize
am.
that's a sign of bipolarism, right?
Yeah.
It's also a ADHD
Yeah.
thing because the caffeine acts differently.
I lived in Memphis for a few years, and we actually took a trip to work for Levi Restaurants down in Atlanta, Georgia, which is at the time the company that contracted with the convention center there in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And my job was to refill the giant coffee dispensers.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, they're like 5 to 10 gallon containers
Yeah.
that they just keep on the
Yep.
tables. So people would bring them back to me, I'd refill them and send them back out. About 3 or 4 times, somebody would come by and knock one over
Oh God.
back there where I was refilling them after they're already refilled. And so then you've got this concrete floor filled,
Covered in
Just
about
covered
5
in
gallons
coffee.
of
Yeah.
hot coffee.
and ever since then, I mean, this has been over 15 years ago at this point. I've probably drank I've had coffee like 3 or 4 times since then because the smell and having to mop it all
Oh,
up
it took me forever to eat
Like,
Wendy's again after working there. It's one of those
it
things.
just drives me insane.
I still don't eat Cane's. Main reason because you don't know until you're making it yourself exactly how much sugar goes into the sweet tea.
You can taste how much.
No,
No, you can't.
No, you cannot.
I mean,
You do not know.
I never. My thing with Cane's is that the tinder is like too greasy.
well, they're
Oh no, Matt Reed's got a special cake pan.
Is it
What's
dinosaur?
what's
Is it
the cake pan?
penis?
No, it's for my birthday cake because my birthday is next Tuesday.
Wait, I might have a cake pan she can use
Oh, no.
that you have never seen.
Yeah, so folks, I turn as we're about to jump back in.
Night Rain, you know where I am on Discord. Depending on your cake pan, get in touch with me. I might have a better cake pan.
I turn 34 next Tuesday, and and I've taken that entire week off to celebrate my birthday.
I may still have titty cake pans.
With that, we're going to say thank you all for
It's time to close off.
go ahead and
back
jump
in.
back into
Isn't
it.
that just round cake pans?
No.
Oh,
No.
Do not paint a word picture, please.
I feel like I already did. Pretty
He said enough.
self-explanatory.
Yeah.
So thank you all for joining as we're now, I'm going to close out of TikTok on here. So with that, as we will now jump back into the story. Another quick round of introduction for those who are just now joining us, and we will come back into the Legends of Frontera, Adventures of the Natural Ones. This side, kick us off with another round of intro.
I am Ricky. I'm playing Finnegan Tenderfoot, the Halfling Wizard Rogue.
I just took a bite. Give me a second.
Skip.
Yep.
I'm Ben. I'm playing Rikara Karajan, the Jim Dragonborn Divine Soul Sorcerer.
I am Derek. I am playing Sandra Nalo, our Drow Cleric Rogue.
I'm back, and I am playing Fenrir Neferin, our half-elf ranger.
And I am Kenneth, aka the Southern GM, and I am the Game Master, herder of cats, and person who is losing his. I can't believe that's even. Actually, no, I can believe that's a thing. With that, we're going to jump. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna see if we can.
See how far we can go before we reintroduce him.
For those of you who have just joined in, who the hell are you?
Apparently, someone who needs no introduction.
That's fair.
I'm Michael. I'm playing Nathaniel Lasan, the human warlock rogue.
You know what? Here, who wants to pull all the? We'll just start over. We'll just pull all these cards at once.
Don't tempt the two of us. We will.
So with that, we're going to jump back into the story, and I believe we'll pick up with Fenrir, heading on the roughly 3-hour quick march out toward what is known as I actually have a name for this. It's the memorial known as the not grotto. A group of trees is called the Grove. Thank you. It's known as the Union Grove. The way it is set up is that there are these 5 large oaks with a 6th one in the center in a raised position. Each of the oaks will around their base a symbol marking one of the ancient chromatic emperors, where in the center is the symbol of Corpus Kralot, a symbol of that from the 5, this one stood tall, gifted by the ancient elves of Ilthalos as a mark of friendship between them and the Dragonborns. So as you journey, roll me a travel roll. 11. I guess. With the advancing snowstorm, there is a little bit of concern. The weather, it does kind of slow you down, but nothing will cost you, nothing assails you. And within a little over 3 hours, you see this kind of raised rocky outcropping. The mountain stone from the roots pushing up a good 40, 50 feet into the air, which gives a very protective area. There is a small stone and metal gate that is currently locked, but the Dragonborns, the Draconians, oh no, the Dragonborns have the key to get into it. You're led into a very protective area. Even in this northern climate, there is still a lot of warmth in here. You can feel beneath your feet thermal vents. It's probably like an underground geyser or spring. It also feeds these brilliant oaks that also reach up a good 40, 50 feet. The top of them just barely skimming that outer protective area, the cold air keeping them kind of in this enclosed. Each of these are probably a good 8 feet in diameter. 8 feet in circumference, so probably a good 4 or 5 feet in diameter. Plenty of room for the pass of the teleport by plants that the Dryads and Aldebark were talking about. Roll me either perception, arcana, or nature. Either one will just know what you rolled and which skill you used.
Perception, because that's higher than a 1.
Okay.
16.
16. So as the Dragonborns that are with you are currently going around setting up a base camp, an operating base here, you hear a shifting noise. It's kind of moving in the upper boughs of these trees. As you look up, the majority of the tree is completely leafless. You see something small and leathery, scaled skins kind of scurrying quickly. Your eyes follow it, but then almost like it, you lose sight of it and try to kind of backtrack, and you don't see it anywhere. Is Severin with you?
Severin is definitely with me.
Roll for him as well, perception with advantage.
He's not going to see it. That's a 9 and a 7.
9 and a 7. Okay.
He gets a +2, so 11.
11. He also kind of losing it, unable to see what was going on. Let's see where he is.
Are any of the Dragonborn nearby?
There are several that are currently doing kind of a small patrol of the area, making sure that there's nothing. We luck roll.
20.
Natural 20. On a natural 20, the young female Emerald Dragonborn actually is kind of walking up to you. She kind of stops and nudges you and points to the top of the tree. And where she points, you see, for a moment, these set of like piercing reddish yellow eyes before they just kind of not disappear, but slowly. So something's closing its eyes, and you can see the leaves moving, as wherever this is appears to be camouflaged. It's slowly moving through the tree in the direction which it climbs, and it moves underneath the bark, not underneath the limb. She leans over and Draconic. What is that?
Have I ever seen or heard of one of these?
Give me a nature check. With what are your favorite enemies?
Favorite enemies: beasts, monstrosities, and aberrations.
This is technically a monstrosity.
+1, 18.
18. You have seen, like you summoned Severin, you have seen Finnegan summon Hootie, you have seen how Rakara interacts with Ren. You get a sense that whatever this is some sort of summoned creature, a familiar, and that it is put here almost maybe to act as a guard or as a forward watch. It doesn't seem to have alerted anything currently, and you get a sense that right now it is just watching whatever is going on.
So, in Draconic, very quietly, he'll respond, based on my experience with my spellcasting companions, I think that might be some sort of summoned protector. Might be spying on us, I don't know.
She responds to Draconic. Should we do something about it? Should we alert someone?
Can you... Alderbark,
Yes, Fedril.
can you sense the creature in the tree in front of us from where you are?
I sense something. It's not natural, whatever it is. It feels almost constructed. It's slowly moving in the center oak tree there. I have never seen or sensed something like this before.
Do you think it's dangerous?
Insight check.
plus 8 to insight and a 19 on roll. Just kind of.
It is not benevolent. I think it is. I think it means us at least mischief, if not to cause harm eventually. I would deal with it if I were you, Fenriel.
On it. Can you carefully warn your commander without drawing undue attention?
She just kind of nods, and you knowing with Rikara about Emerald Direction sending mental, and you see him kind of. There's a moment of him about to react, and you can tell that she told him, do not react, sir, and he just kind of continues going about his business. But there is a notice, there. What's your perception? Like passive.
Passive 17.
You can tell there is the passing of symbols, hand motions being passed back and forth. These troops are, you see slowly one reaching down, maneuvering a weapon. Another, as he steps on a bag, his hand closes on his sword, that kind of stuff. Like they are preparing they are waiting for a signal, essentially.
Fenriel is going to attempt to break line of sight with the creature.
Now, here is the cool thing about, because you've had the acorn on you long enough, roll me a charisma check.
Charisma check.
Yes.
Where's charisma? Can we use an inspiration?
Sure, you can use an inspiration.
16.
16. As you pass this information, the next Aldebar, you hear him again. Finrio, I have been near you long enough now that I may be able to assist in some way. I cannot maintain this for long, but you feel almost like this. If we're anybody watching, we're looking, you would see almost like roots of energy kind of press out from the acorn. And there is a moment of vertigo, and now you have his true sight for a moment. You have for 1 minute. And the creature you're looking at, I think you roll for this, it's like someone took some sort of rodent or squirrel and they have layered the back half of a pseudo-dragon onto it. It's like this scaled skin grafted. And there are these two wicked-looking, almost scorpion-esque tails coming up with this clawed end you can see is glistening with some sort of poison in it. And this is the thing that's just kind of sitting there, not moving, and its eyes are closed. It believes itself unseen.
I don't think I have anything that I can use to just capture it.
Arrows are trying.
I do have arrows of entangling. Thank you. Yes, we will shoot with one of those.
All right.
Do I need to initiative first, or does it not see me?
This is at this point he does not believe himself seen, so you have a realm of surprise on him.
Go, Green Arrow. Use that punching bag. Or that boxing glove arrow. Knock him out of the tree.
That's a natural 20.
Okay. All right. So, say when.
When?
Okay. Roll me a D100.
A D100. It's like I'm playing Call of Cthulhu again. 70.
That's it.
Okay. Had you rolled a 10 or less, you would have hit this thing in the eye. Otherwise, it's just double damage. By the way, the eye shot is an instant kill. Okay.
Okay.
What a nightmare.
By the way, the name of that crit is "It's All Fun and Games."
The entangle arrow does not deal damage.
It does not. It acts as the entangle spell, cast at first level. So this thing must make a
DC 15 dex save.
DC 15 dex save. Plus 2 to dex.
Actually, it says deals an additional 1d6 force damage.
Okay.
Yep, roll damage. If I mean, are you trying to?
I'm trying to capture it.
Okay,
if
so I'm gonna
it's
say
possible.
then you're aiming at the tree to where it'll hit and will wrap around it. So yeah, this needs to make a dex, no, strength save. Sorry, strength save. Creature in the area must make a strength saving throw to be restrained. Does it say dex on
Yeah,
there?
this card says Dex. That changes to
that's
strength.
just dex. That's mine.
Okay.
That is going to be. Oh, that's even because this got a -2 to strength. That's a 7. Then. So yeah, it fails, and you just hear this loud as the vines and the ropes entangle around it. It instantly comes into the visual spectrum, and you see these like scorpion-like tails flailing, trying to dig into this, but it just kind of falls in a single like roped at the ground. As you approach this thing, it's like the front half is this like manged, matted fur, almost like canine-like incisors. It's just slashing and trying. Tiny clawed rodent hands, but the clawed reptilian back. Roll me either. This will be either perception, nature, or medicine.
15 perception.
Perception. As you're looking, you can see. It's not like surgical. There's no like stitch scars, but you see where it's like the front to the back of this thing was grafted onto this, and you are reminded of the scale graft. These monstrosities were like living blessings of like draconic and things like that. Where you get a sense this is kind of what this thing is, and somebody took maybe like some sort of like rodent and then added part of a pseudo dragon to it, among other things.
Your commander Sazek was wishing that your clerics could investigate those creatures back at the Where were we at?
Real quick.
back at the keep.
Action. So make an attempt to try. That's a nat one. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. This thing is that's a total of a minus. It's a -2, -1 to it. It's done. It just gives up. I will send this back immediately to the fort commander. This what is by the skilled father. She just like kind of like picks it up and is looking, and this thing's like it's like a rabid scrat, just like reaching out and trying to claw. She's just corporal. He just kind of walks over one of the other dragonborns, holds open a bag, and just boop, drops it in, kind of wraps it, and you hear that. We'll bring this to the fort commander immediately. As he kind of turns and heads out of the little grotto area, the grove area.
Should he be sent off on his own in case something happens in between here and there?
That's fair. So you have a squad with you. So there are 10 people, not including you. So you have not including you and the squad leaders. There's actually 12 people here currently. They will send him and 3 others. So that'll leave 8 people here at the grove.
Okay.
Unless you would want to return with him, or
If there was already an enemy here waiting, then it's probably best if I stay here.
they're at least watching this.
Mhm.
Okay. So with that, we'll cut back down to the fort. Finnegan, you were given the direction to the fort archives. It is in that main central spire in the, but it's down in the basement underdistrict, the undercroft of it, underdistrict. As you are kind of walk down, you step into this relative. It's actually quite spacious. It's the kind of like vaulted arched ceilings. The room itself, probably about 40 feet tall, probably extends for 2 or 3 football fields. This massive underground chamber. And as on closer inspection, you can see remnants of like where steel and metal met the stone wall. Your emerald was probably once an old under dungeon, that all the jail cells and the steels and things, the bars were removed, and now stacks of books and scrolls line the walls. As you step through, you feel a slight plink against your ankle, and there's a soft chime as the alarm spell registers you stepping through. You hear in Draconic,
well, actually, you speak Draconic.
I should at this point.
I'll give you conversational. You hear.
I mean, I'm smarter than everybody else. I would have picked it up by now.
You would hear a voice in Draconic. You will pick up. It tells you 1 moment. You hear the scuffling and tapping of wood on stone, and from around one of the stacks, this old wizened dragonborn, kind of hunched over. At one point, he probably in his prime stood a good 6 foot tall, but now he's kind of hunched over to where you're pretty sure the almost whisker-like tendrils that hang out of his face would probably touch the top of your head. Like he's hunched over that far, walking with a cane. The silver scales of him have dulled. But even at this distance, the bright blue eyes, there is knowledge and there's power, and there is not a loss of any sort of wit or wisdom in those eyes. She sees you for a moment, looks kind of odd, and then and actually in halfling, he asks,
Can I help you, sir?
Name is Finnegan Tenderfoot, sir.
And again, Tenderfoot. Would you know Lady Ylira from the
Yeleva.
lexicon?
Yeleva, yes.
Yeleva, yes,
It's my
yes.
adopted mother.
I thought the name, she has mentioned you in her correspondence a few times, yes. Good lords, man, what brings you to Krelot?
Chaos.
I've had enough chaos in my life, thank you. Is there something I can do for you?
I would like some information on the old Draconian capital, whatever the name of the fucking lake was. Zarnir.
Zarnir, yeah.
You want information on Zarnir? Why?
There's a bit of a suspiciousness when he asks that.
Inside check.
Roll me an insight check.
He's rolling one on you.
10.
Kind of hard to read. I mean, it could be, he's just like, fuck, this halfling come from somebody asking about an ancient evil city. Or he's just kind of, he actually wrote, he just kind of looks at you and goes, follow me. And just kind of turns and starts very slowly, like almost Yoda-esque, like, cane, step, step. Cane, step, step. Cane, step, step. So walking like that through the.
So Mr. Tanglefoot, was it?
Yes.
What information specifically are you wanting on that strange place?
There's something quite mystical afoot.
It's kind of, when you say that, he stops and looks at you.
Mystical. What do you mean by mystical?
Are you a practitioner of the arts, sir?
I have been known to dabble in the arcanum from time to time.
I'll explain to him the things going on with the ley lines. The weird stones not working properly, things like that.
Just kind of, roll me another insight check.
11.
Yes. I'd heard that there was some issues with the Weir Stones. I understand that our capital city far to the south may have some very, very serious damage to it. I knew the ley lines were being affected as well, yes. Even I could sense that. But why do you believe Zarnir has anything to do with that? It's just like tap, step, step.
We got here when yesterday.
Evening before, yeah, it'd be like right as the day was starting is where everything started happening. I think was that you got one long rest? Yeah.
Yeah, we've only had the one long
Yeah.
rest since we got here.
And at this point, you are 2 days out. So yesterday, the day before, and the day previous, because it was about a day's travel getting through the mountain. So you're about 2 days out from the solstice. The solstice was 2 days past.
Okay.
Now that I know how to print that stuff off of a dungeon, you guys will have calendars next week.
Sweet.
Thank you, Night Rain.
But we were the ones that made the fort commanders aware of the issue with the Weirstones, correct?
Correct. And since then, she told you she sent out what little information she's been managed to glean, because there were sky ships patrolling certain areas. So she's basically confirmed what you've told her.
Okay. The ley lines are being pulled in that direction. And that, through conversation with one of my Dragonborn colleagues, is where they suspect if something were afoot, it would be there.
Roll me one more insight check.
Damn it. I know this motherfucker is sketchy.
You said he
God damn it.
You said he just kind of stops in front of you for a moment.
Okay, I've got fucking inspiration. I'm about to go through this shit. 17.
There you go. Stops for a moment, and for the first time, you're able to actually truly like see this guy, and you get a sense of his movements. He's been fucking with you a little bit, because as he turns around, he doesn't like stand up straight, but he kind of raises up a couple of inches, holding the cane more like an aid than a necessity. So you believe that the ley lines are being channeled to Zarnir.
That's the conclusion that me and my colleagues have come to.
Where's not near me? Nothing.
I have what you are looking for, Mr. Tenderfoot. Follow me as he turns and now briskly step.
With my glasses on, what do I notice about him?
He is a magical void. There is literally a null space coming from him, specifically from the set of robes he is wearing. It's essentially like, sunlight, Vanta Black, sunlight.
Alright, I'll chase off behind him.
He leads you out of the various stacks and different scroll stacks, and down a set of like old stone stairs into this small room about 8 foot by 10. Where you see that little there's a decent. It's not, I say little. There's a bed. This is his living quarters. It's kind of set beneath this. And he walks over to a section of the wall where if you look at this section with your goggles, you clearly see I haven't. I'm still building my world, but essentially it is the seal of Mordenkainen, this
Okay.
powerful arcane seal that is meant to protect whatever is put behind it. Like only high-level spellcasters can cast and break this seal. You watch as he walks up with a hand and just flicks it, and you instantly feel the power of his blood, the sorcerer power that he has, as the seal mystically unlocks. And the wall just kind of molds away, and you see several books and tomes in this kind of small. So he goes, "These are the books that I and my predecessors believed too dangerous for the common stacks and the individuals. Our order was tasked by Krelot himself to guard this information, for he believed there would be a time when it would be needed." So he reaches in and pulls out a tome that it looks to have this kind of leathery, not dapple, but like textured pattern to it. And as he hands it to you, you see there's a resemblance between the leather binding of this book and the scaled skin on the back of his hand. This tome is wrapped in dragonborn skin. As he hands it to you. "Do you read the ancient tongue, Mr. Finnegan?"
I can.
"You hold in your hand a tome from the Brotherhood of Bone and Shadow. Rakara, this is the necromantic cult."
Mm-hmm.
I think I told you.
Yeah, we discussed that one.
Within
What color is the leather?
the leather is a very pale gold. Within that tome is there, I'm loath to call it magic, but the rituals and the arcanum that they knew and used in their attempt to perfect my people and our kin. Tell me, are you familiar with the term Dracolich?
I'm 99% sure I would be familiar with the term.
Even in the, I mean, you have very well made it clear that you spent all your days in the library, even sneaking down into the vaults to some of those books that you could get to within reason.
Yeah.
I'm loading at the comparison, but the comparison would be to the information of a Horcrux at Hogwarts, where there is mention of it. It may be briefly described, but there is no detail. Like you would see the most foul creature of draconic lineage, the Dracolich, a being of undeath and power.
Okay.
That would kind of be the most that would be known to the common person. That book you're holding was pulled from Zarnir as the city itself sank beneath Krelot before the waters took it. A final attempt by the Dracon Emperors to make sure that their legacy remained hidden and protected. There has been theories that beneath that lake the city itself still resides, but that is just conjecture, as none have been able to reach it. As you flip this open, and it is some of the most foul, dark magics you've ever seen. Everything requires blood. Some require souls and full life force. There's even mentions of those that are scale touched, or they're platinum touch, that touch the blessing of Bahamut. How to best use all of, like, there is literally you've seen a human anatomy textbook, right? how it has the pages where as you turn them, it gets the various. There's that in here, like various drawings of layers. You can tell that means they vivisected one of these poor platinum touch to get all this information. And this is a thick tome, like several hundred pages of some of the most foul and just godless and unholy magics you've ever seen. Like even you have to kind of shudder a little bit at the information in here, and see very much why these Draconians were feared and hated by the Dragonborn. Toward the very end, as you're flipping through, you do read what they call the ritual of ascended perfection. And this begins the ritual of crafting a Dracolich. And as you go to turn the page, you feel the book pull from your hand as Yigal takes it back. There are some things, Mr. Finnegan, that I must prohibit you from even viewing. That magic, even if seen, is not something that we were... That magic is not even allowed to be seen by the more worthy and noble individuals. There are things in there that, let's just say, there's a reason my people do not like these Draconians.
That's understandable. But if we don't know what we're up against and what we need to stop, this could mean the end. Not just for you and your people, but for all people.
He kind of looks at the book. Do you have reason to believe that the Brotherhood has returned and is once more attempting their unholy goals?
I don't know what their goals are, but I do know that they were in Port Blaven not even a week ago.
Do you have proof of this? Forgive me, what you are insinuating is not that I do not believe you. I do not want to believe you.
We had a necklace.
I believe one of you who still...
I was going to say it's one of those two.
Okay.
Still has it.
When you mentioned that, he kind of described the necklace to the best of your ability, please.
Ricky believes, and Finnegan would know, that it starts out looking...
It's circle. It's got the common snake eating itself, but it's a golden dragon. But as you turn it, that dragon's scales turn to just a skeleton eating upon itself.
As it
And the
twists
knife
out,
pops
the
out.
blade will slide out.
Yep.
So kind of, the blade is new, but that is one of their damned amulets, yes.
They used it to trigger an attack, suicidal explosion.
It is new then indeed.
I believe it created an anti-magic field, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They could drain the magic from the local area. She looks down at the book. Roll me a persuasion check with advantage. The area was a null magic zone. However, if you targeted them, there was a chance the spell would go wild because of what was affecting them.
If I can remind something that I think I already told you. You told me that the Shadowborn were created from the blood of the phylactery of the Dracolich.
Yes, you were able to figure that for you.
So then I would told the whole group. So thereby, by their presence, therefore it exists.
So I didn't know that you would have that part. I didn't know you would have told everybody.
No secrets at this point.
You play things here, man. You play things here.
Not at this point.
Okay.
That's a 13 on my persuasion check. But Finnegan is also kind of doing some math in his head. If they're able to draw in the magic in an area. But they're drawing the ley lines, the magic of the world, to one particular place.
Okay.
They're about to
Forget,
bomb the world.
I was gonna say, forget cracking a continent. They will crack
Yeah.
planet.
You're close enough, I will give you a point of inspiration. What happened when they activated that suicide attack? What did it do?
It stabbed itself, and
They went boom.
yeah, they went boom, and their blood, or
They withdrew all the magic from that area.
yeah,
If they can focus the ley lines and do what they're wanting to, this is even because his roles, I even had him in on this. If you control the magic of this world, you control this world. But like you said, the magic is what is holding this world together. That balance between the primordial powers and the divine is what is holding life together. You strip one away, the other one's rampant, and then so essentially what they're doing is they will either have all the power or no one will have it. And as the two of you are kind of having this discussion, you watch as this old dragonborn's eyes flare. The key towers. Zarnir was a fortified city in stone and in magic. One such defense it had was a massive magical field, a barrier that could repel even the fire of dragons. It was what Kralot had to enter. Kralot had to destroy one of 3 key towers, spread throughout what is now known as the Roaring Vale. Those towers were used to focus magic to a point within the city that this field was then coalesced around. The city may be gone, but 2 of those towers stand as they were never found, and one, though ruined, they've had 1,000 years plus to rebuild it.
was it above ground or underground?
The one that he found and destroyed was within a hidden, magically hidden grove in the Attigan forest. The other 2, he believed, were at points within the mountain ranges surrounding the Vale, but they were never found. The thing is, though, that focal point within Zarnir was what pulled the magic, and it didn't pull the ley lines. It simply pulled the ambient energy from the key towers.
Well, this is much more focused.
So there would have to be something pulling it toward the center again, some sort of capacitor. They don't know what that is yet. That's far into the future. Capacitors. Some sort of lens or directing device needed to pull and focus that much energy to a singular point.
Are you familiar with void stones?
Describe them to me.
I'll describe the void stones.
Remnants of the void itself that were cast down when the Titans fell. Yes, I've held small pieces and studied them. They have a tendency to draw and drain magic. That is brilliant, Mr. Finnegan. A piece of this void stone, carved as though into a great lens. But where would one get that? The lens would have to be enormous.
What would it have to be made of?
It would need at least a core of this void stone. Perhaps some sort of apparatus to hold it, to allow it to focus. I want you to roll me an intelligence check with advantage. Call this a knowledge roll.
That's a natural 1, so I get to reroll that.
Reroll that, Mr. Halfling.
God damn it! I just rolled like shit.
Yeah, you ain't
Oh
kidding.
my gosh, right?
You have advantage, so.
Oh,
No,
yeah,
that's with advantage.
with advantage.
That's 3 rolls.
The highest was a 10.
Yeah. I'm about to burn through.
A 5, a 3, and a
inspiration.
1 were
Oh
what were
my
rolled.
God.
Okay, 20.
20. Your mind is taken back, Finnegan, to an ancient, crumbling cathedral deep beneath the world, to a figure in a flowing dark blue robe, his face obscured. You remember what was happening, what was needed, and how it occurred. The power created by that autumnal by that horizontal eclipse, that the moon, the sun, and planet aligned, energy flowing had to be pulled and focused. You remember Zytherin and Ebrin speaking as massive power poured into an ancient stone that your friend Montel gave his arm to make sure was not used to resurrect an ancient titan. One such lens did exist.
Which
Perhaps
we
it still
have
does.
we
We
have talked about
We never went looking for
Finreal
it.
figuring out where it was because I remember talking with Graham about what was on the surface level
Yep.
of that area.
An ancient volcano, the caldera, long since closed. But that meant that there was a tube that could be easily opened up, a lens affixed over it in a certain way to give direct access down to that cathedral. Such a lens does exist. You've, in essence, come across it in a way before.
Ricky can't remember.
What you need help with, Ricky?
A lens.
All right, so but what if it didn't happen? You remember that card pull?
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay,
that
so
part.
the crystal that was in there
Right.
had the energy coming from above.
Okay.
We never physically ourselves found it, but what he's saying is we had come to the understanding that there was a focus lens
Right.
way up there.
That aligned with that eclipse and pulled energy straight down.
I thought that focus lens then was a pool of water.
No, we
Fuck.
we
We had assumed
Suspected
it was
and
water
assumed
because
that.
of
The lake
a
of the caldera.
focus.
Okay.
A lake, water can be used to help focus.
Yeah. Now, the actual water itself was the actual lens, but there was a physical lens that had to be,
Okay.
funneled into.
Okay.
So think like your eye does. There's multiple layers to the lens, but specific parts do specific things.
Gotcha.
The thing that they remove and replace for cataract surgery.
Yeah.
That thing. What actually focuses and adjusts the light for you.
Oh,
Which means either A, there was more than one lens made. B, they went and got the lens because we never even thought to go mess with it.
Yeah.
Or option C, shenanigans.
Option C, there's a natural lens.
Yeah, there's some kind of
Very
natural
soon over
performance.
Okay. I wish Ricky were smarter.
Well,
We could rule out
that's-
you
2 of
could
those
roll.
3 options
Well, here's the
if
thing.
we go there and investigate.
according to
Or
you, Finnegan's
Sproul.
a genius, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's roll for Finnegan then.
Or scribe.
I mean,
We
what
can
am I rolling?
scribe.
Well, what are you trying to glean? Let me ask that. What are you trying to
We
glean?
can take us literally anywhere.
Finnegan should know like exactly what this item is or where it would be if
Okay.
we've ran across it before.
So on that intelligence roll that you made, you would remember talking that there was some sort of lens, and by what you have seen and known about Voidstone, it was crafted, at least in some part, from that to pull and direct and change energy, that natural primordial energy, into a certain way. So what Finnegan would then be led to believe here is that either someone has crafted another one, that one was taken and used, but that is essentially being what is being used now, and the only reason that they haven't finished is because this was not its intended purpose, and so they're having to adjust and change as the ritual is happening to account for uncertainties. Because magic is very specific.
The original focus was wrong. It's new glasses.
Yes.
Right.
So as the spell is being conducted, they're having to readjust because magic is very precise.
All right.
Sand to polish this section.
Which means, though, that lens has to be up in a position to where it can intersect with these ley lines as well as direct down. Don't think of it like an actual convex lens. For you, with your arcanum, this would be more like some sort of a sphere or some sort of prism that could be moved and directed to send energy and direct in a very certain way.
So the lens that was used in the original, or in the solstice thing or whatever.
Yeah,
it
Equinox.
was. The Equinox. That was used for divine energy.
It was pulling the ambient energy that is created between the eclipse and the flow that was increasing during that eclipse. They'll believe that when the planets align, there is power in that alignment, that the energy flows through. It is both divine and primordial. It is the power of creation.
Okay.
It is what brought the gods here originally.
Okay. So we need to figure out what they would need to change what changes they would need to make to be able to focus the energy from the ley lines. And realistically, we should be able to see it somewhere, because that would have to be a ginormous item. What time is it?
At this point, you're reaching into around 3-4 o'clock.
Okay. May have need of you again.
You watch as he turns with the tome still in hand, makes a motion. You watch as the stone wall melts over and the arcane lock before turning back. I'm going to do something that, if my people did more often, we may not be in this mess, Mr. Finnegan. He hands you the book. Trust. I would like this returned, please. As all good followers of libraries should do to books.
Oh, I'm a protector of books.
Doesn't Finnegan still have some overdue library books on his person right now?
Technically, he works for the lexicon.
They're being.
Oh, there's also the Tree of Tales.
That's what I'm talking about. The other.
So technically, the Tree of Tales isn't an active library. They have to rebuild parts of it. So
Just holding on to it for safekeeping.
And then we've got stolen pages floating around somewhere in the party.
That had nothing to do with me.
At least not.
We've also got a book of Orcus in his possession.
Oh, what?
What?
The Book of Orcus.
the
I thought you gave that up.
I think I gave that.
Oracula Maleficarum. Yeah. By the way, when you take this, there is a very disconcerting warmth that still permeates through it.
Old scaly book.
It's known as a Tome of Shadow and Bone.
All right, I'll start heading back towards
All right.
the party.
Just make sure. Okay, so we're heading back to.
I guess where Rikara is, or
I'm in the area.
yeah.
Okay. Okay, so returning to Rikara. Make sure. So make sure I have that name correctly because for some reason when I said this, Brotherhood of Shadow and Bone, something about that didn't sound right. So make sure that I have that correct. It's one of those things look back through like it's because it's been it feels like it's been longer than just a week that we've been gone.
I think Shadow and Bone was correct, or was it Blood?
Shadow and Bone is probably incorrect because that is a book series
Yeah.
that's now a Netflix show.
Skull and Bone or something.
It's like the Brotherhood.
That was like a cult.
Carnival, Halifar, the Cat in the Hat.
Oh, it certainly wasn't that far back.
Yeah.
Of course, that was like a week ago.
Actually, yeah. That,
No, the Cat in the Hat was like in the same area as us having to deal with the Draconians.
Cat in the Hat.
That's where I blew up the mask.
I don't think I was here that day.
Shadow and Scale. The Brotherhood of
Shadow
Shadow
and
and Scale.
That's close.
Close enough.
Yeah. So, okay. Heading back to Rikara. Sorndrin, anything?
Just still kind of observing, staying out of trouble. I've technically already threatened a high-ranking officer in here. It's better to stay out of extra trouble.
Fair enough. Rikara, what are you doing?
A lot's been on his mind since finding Daltonstone. The topic of family on his mind, family name, and this thing with the gods in your help and we need the gods just keep on coming back to him, and he's gonna go find Sondrin.
Okay. You head off to find Sorndrin. Okay. They're fine with that.
Okay.
Montel, what are you doing?
Nathaniel will ask over the ring if there's anything anyone wants scried on. Because if not, he's going to be checking in on some people.
Okay.
Using Mori as his focus.
Okay.
Because that's got to be worth more than 1,000.
That's fair.
First thing I've got to ask if a location is a moving thing, how does that work with scrying?
What do you mean by location is a moving thing?
Well, it's if I try to scry on the flying ship.
You'll be scrying on an object, and even though if the object is moving, you can still see the object.
Okay. Well, I'm asking because it says location or creature
You can,
specifically with scry,
that's fair.
and I was wondering
if you want to use, say, the skyship is the location,
Mhm.
you will see it. You will focus on it.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say when you do the sensor appears at that location and doesn't move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you would basically. There goes the ship.
Yeah. So that's the reason why I'm asking.
It'd probably be better to try and figure out who is on the ship
Yeah, I
if
know.
you're checking
Yeah.
a ship.
But that's the reason why I'm asking
I understand
if
that.
a location is moving.
I will say that if you want to focus on the skyship, I will say you will appear like your scry will appear on the ship and move with it.
Okay. Like, I have no reason to scry that. I'm just asking
Yeah, yeah.
for clarification
I got you. I
purposes.
got you.
For anyone outside looking, the eyes of the wyvern just go.
Don't worry, that's probably the place I know best.
Fair enough.
First, I'm actually going to be scrying in on the oldest dragonborn kid.
You're
Yeah,
Yorick.
Yorick.
Yorox, okay.
And I'm going to be using their present to me as my connection.
Okay, that'll work. That'll work.
And then it's up to you whether it's familiar or firsthand for.
At this point, I will just that this is more than like there is no chance you will miss this. Like, this
Okay.
is it.
we are family.
So
Yeah. So, he must make a wisdom save
okay.
because I have no way of contacting them to ask ahead of time.
That is going to be a total of 12.
Total of 12. Cool. Doesn't pass.
Okay.
So I'm just doing a check in to make sure they are all right.
All right.
Because I know he's normally around his siblings at this point. So.
So this is like I said. This is like I said. This is 3 days past the solstice.
Mm-hmm.
So your vision darkens for a moment, and then you see a bright glow that slowly comes into clarity. And sitting around a familiar wooden table, in a place with strands of green garland and silver bows, you see the snowcrest flower as a now full swing celebrating snowcrest. There is Yorox, Vrik, Vria, and Gola sitting around this massive feast. You see Haggerty moving in and laughing, carrying drinks. They're all in the Grey Oak Tavern. You hear music being played. You see a familiar human that you've only recently met, Tina Collingston, sitting among them laughing as Gola is kind of sneaking, who's sitting next to her, kind of sneaking food to Donnie. Donnie now wearing this brilliant sort of, it almost looks like a thunder shirt, but it's got like pockets and a bit of armor on it, as it has the mark that Kieran has shown you for the family circus that the carnival he was making. You can hear, like the scry allows you to hear as well, correct? Okay.
I think so, yeah.
See in here. And it's 10 feet around the person.
Mm-hmm.
As roll me a luck roll. Let's see how.
10.
Just barely. As the door open, you hear the sound of the door opening. A familiar voice, kind of laughing as he steps in. As Hemlock is seen, just kind of pats Yorick on the head, and Yorick turns and in kind of a thick broken but still in common goes, "Did they manage to get underway?" Yes, my boy. The giant balloon actually bloody worked. The skyship left a few hours ago.
Your girlfriend made a zeppelin.
I don't know that yet.
I don't know what's going on here now either, so.
Samantha, Captain Eleanor, Halifar are on their way.
I got one more H word to throw at you now, but Rakara.
Are on their way to help. You see
Hindenburg.
as Rick kind of turns and goes, "Why didn't," and again broken? "Why didn't you go as well, Captain Hemlock?" Because, lad, I need to stay here to help with the reconstruction and the repairs of the city. Haggerty! Yes, Hemlock. Is that your spice mead I smell? Aye, it is. Well then, I will join my friends here. As he sits down next to Gola, kind of pats her head, nods to Tina, as Haggerty brings over. It's this like massive bird turkey of some kind set down. There is potatoes, there's gravy, there is fresh vegetables. And for a moment, they all just kind of sit there. You can tell that there are no other people in the Grey Oak right now. As you just all kind of look as Haggerty kind of smiles. I know we all wish they were here with us right now. But where they are is where they need be. Were it not for them, our home, our very lives, may not have made it to this Snow's Crest Festival. And so, you see as he raises his stein, and let us be upstanding, and on this, a most memorable Snow's Crest, let us remember the natural ones, and they all just kind of echo that. You see that the four young dragonborns raise like little glasses of milk and juice. Even Donnie howls out, and as people kind of cheer. Then you just kind of hear Gola as the describing his face, just kind of hear goes, "Can we open the presents now?" As the light fades out from the sky. Your friends, though missing you, are very happy and very healthy and alive. And apparently you have some reinforcements coming on a zeppelin.
Nathaniel over the ring is just gonna go, Rakara?
Yes.
You better marry this girl.
Why has your girlfriend put a balloon on a ship?
Like I said, one extra H word to throw at you. Hindenburg.
So that's how they're getting here.
What?
Who else is coming?
No. I asked the question first.
I don't know how or why.
Cool, and I slipped the ring off so I don't have to answer.
Right, Kieran.
Does the level 32 paladin not recognize the presence of the scrying spell?
It's one hell of a paladin.
Wait, which one? Hemlock?
Yeah.
He's not level 32.
He might be.
We don't know. We haven't seen his character sheet.
Let's just say that because it was a friendly spell, he was able to see what was going on there. Yeah, we'll just leave it. We'll retcon and say that. So,
I'm just gonna be using this scrying spell 2 more times, so come back to me at the very end.
so Sorndrin,
Yes.
as Rakara is kind of searching you out, I'm going to say, be it luck, coincidence, or the curly-cued whimsy of fate, the two of you find yourself outside the central spire as Finnegan is stepping out, and you see him kind of pocketing something as you're leaving out of this. The three of you kind of meeting in front of the massive central spire of Fort Korfst.
You find what you're looking for?
I found a lot of things.
Good, bad, ugly.
Oh, it's all bad, but you know.
At this point.
Always.
Anything useful?
I mean, I'll just recount everything that we kind of
I'm not going to ask everything. Like you give, okay, cool. You know if you want to hold anything back, just all information. Cool. As he is describing this, both of you also kind of clicking into void lens, that kind of remembering the issue, the incident with Zytherin. You getting a little bit more of an insight because of overhearing the conversation between Ebron and Zytherin at kind of the beginning of what's happening.
I remember the magic that came
Yeah.
out when I touched it.
Yep.
Yeah.
You kind of kicking yourself for forgetting to go look for the damn lens.
So you found a book on how to make Dracolich, among other things.
Among other things.
They already have one.
Well, maybe we can figure out how to unmake it.
That'd be useful.
It's a fun idea.
Start reading from the last page and work my way forward.
That's not.
You
I
say
have other
that.
things on my mind. I'm sorry.
That's not how you do that. I mean, kinda is actually. It's the best way to start. Reading from the end of the recipe and go back to the beginning of it. See where you can mess
You
it up.
realize by that definition then, the way you uncook a cake is you start by putting it back in the oven and setting fire to it.
Yes. Every fire cleanses all.
Derek Catholic showing.
I
I'm
mean,
well
if you do
aware.
that, it turns back into powder.
Start from scratch.
Point of inspiration.
It'll just be a different flavor cake mix.
So this may be a stretch,
Okay.
but this, you mentioned a prism triangle. That kind of sounds like a mountain peak. There are mountains in the area. Point to the nearby mountains.
You would have also heard of the keystones, these large gem-like objects that set atop. That's the only ones that were found set atop a massive tower that was used to focus ambient energy to the center point of Zafnir and then create the barrier.
And
The only one ever found that was destroyed by Kralot is what caused the barrier to fall. The other two were never found.
am I aware of the other two that one is possibly hidden in the Roaring Vale?
Well, they're all because Zarnir was in the Roaring Vale. The one that was found was in a magically hidden grove in the Adigan Forest. People have tried to find that grove, but again, no luck since the initial incursion by Kralot. And the other two, people have searched the Spine and the other mountain range. What was the other mountain range that runs through it real quick? The Spine and the Strakir Mountains, and no luck. No one's ever been managed to find anything.
They never had a Finnegan.
They never had Finnegan or us. Any of us still have a piece of woodstone?
You shouldn't have said it. They're coming for you.
I thought for a second
Finnegan
Finnegan was
Stealing
looking
books.
at me. Like when he asked who had a piece of wisdom, I'm like, do I? Or
No, both of them got handed to you.
The last piece of
Voidstone,
voidstone
not-
I had got
not-
pickpocketed
Voidstone?
off of me.
And got returned to you after it was cleared out. It is a completely empty and untainted void stone.
I feel like I used it to blow something up.
is that
No, you're thinking of the one that we shoved
The
the
ship-
sword into.
Part of the old god, part of the usurper god into.
But that was a different
that
one.
was before him pickpocketing me.
Because you shoved it in, and then because that's what you used in the fight with Zytherin was when you dropped that void stone.
That was the
explosive.
necklace one.
That was a necklace.
The one we had specifically that I pickpocketed and used later was a just plain stone that I think we got off the zombie. Or one of the crawlers.
So who has it?
I think I believe you would still
Ricky
have
would
like
still.
the
Finnegan would
purified.
still have it. It's clean. It doesn't have any.
Look,
Oh,
It's
go
just
figure.
my thought of using it as a focus.
Yeah, like that's fair. So like you kind of like Finnegan, you've probably got like tons of stuff in your
Yeah.
mess strips as you kind of dig around.
It's
and use it to focus
It's been
your
jangling
mind
next to my
to
coin for
find
some
this prism.
As you pull out the void stone, and again that sickly green look to it now gone. It's just a clear prism. There are planes intersecting in various parts. As you hold up the light, you can actually see the light fracturing and readjusting as you move it around. It could very easily be used as a prism lens.
okay. I'm gonna hold it up.
Okay.
Put my glasses on.
Okay.
How do I see the ley line magics interacting with it?
Point of inspiration. I was hoping you would do this. As you're kind of holding it up toward where that main ley line is being pulled taut, you kind of hold it for a moment, and you're just kind of turning it, watching the ley line behind it glisten. Before you realize that's not behind it. As you kind of step to the side, you see very, very minuscule, a droplet compared to the river rushing by, is actually being slowly, ever so slowly pulled toward you.
It's the either Loki or Quantumania, the timeline shift.
Essentially, yeah, you watch as it
Thread.
just slow, this little thread. And if you would stand here for another 10, 15 minutes, maybe it would finally reach you. But that tells you, because this thing's about the size of your hand,
Right.
the thing that is doing this is magnitudes. A monolith compared to a pebble.
At least we have a size idea now.
The magic to consider something like that.
Where would they have gotten something this size?
I don't know. Maybe
From similar to where we got destroyed the platinum star.
I wouldn't even say that.
But it most likely would have already had to have been wherever it is.
No.
To be able to move something that way.
Have we not been dealing non-stop, even before y'all met me, with a mining company that always seems to have their hand in a mine with this stuff in it, that has been across continents, across countries, with the ability and apparently the funds to move something like this? Have we not delved deep into a cavern and fought a giant stone chunk of this thing that
Sandra.
took Krolin?
Take a point of inspiration.
What's the name of that mining company?
This mining company does operate here in Provence.
Yep.
They're the ones that took Griffin's parents.
I've got it. Let me find it over here.
My notes in this notebook started with the rapier incident.
The rapier
it's
incident.
not gonna help.
That doesn't sound like a good thing.
It's
It's
Nathaniel.
where I got hit into the wall. There is a outline of me in a wall in our house.
Oh, that's right.
Verog Mining
Sorry,
Consortium.
Libby.
Verog Mining Consortium. This was the one that had bought the dozen children from Lamtra. This was the one that had sought for mining rights within the southern island off of Ilthalas. This is the one that Zytherin was working with in the dragonborn city of Galathir. This is the one that was working in the broken mountain known as Dead Man Falls near the the Dead Man Falls near the broken mountain known as the Karaduz Mountain in Stornakor. So at this point, I will let Grim kind of have a moment here. I'm going to say he's just kind of like following, like the same as you kind of walking around. When all this discussing, the Ensivan Empire, ruled by a dark, ancient wizard, or mage of some kind, rather. It's said that he had a grand jewel that gave him power beyond power, that he wore like a crown. And when the orcs rose and threw and destroyed his vault, that the jewel was lost. Now, Grim will tell you, we thought it was just maybe an actual gem, but I mean, we orcs are not the most of imaginative people when it comes to describing things. Maybe it was these pieces of this void stone or whatever it was, and this Verog mining is looking for it. And from what we've been dealing with, they may have found it.
Said it was an ancient. It was a mage.
The Anshivan Empire was ruled by an ancient mage named Vecna.
Same people with that black dagger.
That was one of his, I guess that would be a result of his work.
What would Finnegan know about him?
Without rolling, you would know that Vecna you crave knowledge for understanding. Vecna craved it for power, and he believed only he was worthy of that power. He used his power to subjugate the orcs of Stornakor, to build an empire in an inhospitable land. He enslaved, subjugated, and essentially ruled from one part of that coast to the other with an iron fist. The only reason he didn't push out into Kralot was he ruled at the same time as the Drakon Empire. Which would say something that, yeah, he wasn't going to mess with 5 ancient dragons, but 5 ancient dragons wouldn't mess with him. The remnants of his empire are scattered across Stornakor, and far to the north, in his basically his citadel, his main tower, it's called the Frostspire Crag. Literally, it sank down into the ground. This massive castle. Literally, the history says that his screams could still be heard as his tower collapsed and sank with him. Whatever his final, because you've done an amazing job, and I'll give it to you. Whatever his final intention was, no one ever knows. But roll me a spellcasting check, Finnegan.
What would that be?
Would be
Spell attack, basically.
D20 adding your spell modifier and proficiency.
So whatever your spell attack is, whichever. For you, I think is
Be plus 11 because
yeah. I think it's plus 11 because of your stick.
I got plus 10.
the
Plus 1 over me.
gotta make sure what the key gives me because I don't.
Yeah, I don't remember if it's plus 1 to the attack or plus 1 on your DCs.
Both.
Okay.
Yeah, both. But I couldn't remember if it got boosted when it leveled or not.
Actually, no. Hang on. Because of the key, roll with advantage. You're attuned to the key. Roll with advantage.
25.
As you're sitting here discussing and you speak that name, you say Vecna, the key suddenly appears in your hand. And all of you there see the key flash. You are standing in a grand hall. Well, it would be grand if it wasn't so morose. You see sharp edges, dark colors of black ice. You see figures of massive proportion, 8-9 feet tall in plate mail, their breath steaming not from the cold, but from the heat of their breath, as hell knights line this hallway. And you're walking between them, unafraid. In fact, they seem to tremble a little bit before you. Sitting in a black ice throne before you, a massive window behind him, is this figure, completely bald, no hair, his face and features sunken in, a dark pallor to his skin, but he sits with confidence and grace that as you approach, you just hear, Master Alor, what brings you to my little paradise? Vecna, you tempt the gods with your research. You need not. You don't tell me what to do anymore. Those days are over, Master. I am my own man now. Not much of a man left to you, Vecna. Please turn from your ways. You know not what you spurn. I have seen. You know nothing! You who would subjugate me to a mere... Like you subjugate these peoples. They work because they love me. They don't love you, Vecna. And I'm sorry I never did. It was not your love I wanted, old man. Then why did you work so hard? Because I was using you. I wanted what you taught me. I needed it. I ate it. I took it from you. And in the end, I will rise to be greater than any who have walked this world. No, Vecna. You will not rise. Quite the opposite, my student. I'm sorry I failed you, Vecna. I'm sorry I let my own hubris. You dare apologize! I have risen to the ranks of near godhood, and soon I will rise above that. The gate will shatter before me. Thank you, Master. Without your writings, without your damned gateway, I would never have found the answer. Vecna, please, the gateway is not what it seems. I know that now. Do not continue. It is not what it seems because you were a fool. You didn't know where the power came from. Those that love me will power my gateway, and I will ascend to godhood. You will ascend to madness, Vecna. Please, for your master's sake, for your friend's sake, Vecna, don't do it. You have worn out your welcome in my kingdom, Alor. Leave me, never return. Or on that day I will kill you. I'm sorry. As you're suddenly are pulled back, the key resonating in your hand. For you two, a mere split second passed.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, that stick just popping out of nowhere is pretty interesting.
After you said his name.
Almost like the stick was ready to hit somebody.
This key belonged to the teacher of Vecna.
Is he a good teacher or a bad teacher?
It's never that simple.
I understand it's a student more than the teacher, but
A good parent.
You know
can
what I
have a
mean.
Terrible child.
okay, that's what I'm trying to make sure of.
Alor built the gates, but never used it. Vecna tried to use it to ascend to godhood.
Good luck crushing that gate.
It appears.
Now remember, Vecna said, "I will never." Your gate failed. He had one. He had one of his own.
Okay. Vecna built his own gate, and I believe he attempted to power it with souls.
Noticing a pattern here. Go on.
Oh, that's where it's where I got back here.
Well, we know Alor's gate crumbled. Vecna City fell. Well, trying to open a gate to become a god tends to lead to bad ideas.
I'm going to give you a timeline. So the meeting with Vecna occurred, and then it would be later because, like were told and were shown that Alor did step through his gate. So something happened there that he believed. And this is fitting. We'll easily put this together. Something happened that either he believed it was necessity, or he changed something to he wanted to do something. And he tried to step through and was never seen again. And that's when the gate shattered.
And how long ago in the timeline was this?
Vecna's empire fell. So right now you're in about year 970 of the modern age. The age of Reconstruction before that was another 500 years.
About 15. Because Draconian Empire was about the same time as Vecna, so with
about
them
the
falling around the same
the
time.
what is known as the Fallen Age is about a 1500 year period. Sometime a little over 1,000 years ago, during either the Age of Reconstruction or the early part of the modern age, that is when Alor took his step. That is when he attempted to move through his gate. About 800 years ago. Yeah, say that.
Would that have been before or after the fall of Vecna?
That would have been after
That
the
would
fall of Vecna.
about 400 or 500 years after the fall. So
And
there's
in
another thing to
Finnegan's
think about.
mind, from what he's been able to glean so far, from what Alor could and what he was trying to do, it would be about that long to try to manipulate the very fabric of reality in the ways that Vecna was talking about. Like, these are rituals that take centuries to bring to fruition.
Do we know what race Elor was?
Alor was an elf. He was a high elf. Vecna, by the look of him, was humanoid. The sunken face. It was very much like, if you know anything about the Zastam kind of look. Very much like that, kind of the Zastam Voldemort. You could tell he was humanoid, but any resemblance of a...
Humanity is gone.
He was built lither than an orc, so maybe an elf or a human. He didn't have like the mass of an orc or the bone structure of a dragonborn.
Okay.
And he was too tall to be like, no more halfling.
Right. Okay. I'll have to ponder some things for a
Okay.
while.
my thing may take a little bit longer than 5 minutes, so.
All right. Well, then we'll pick yours up. Then. So cut back to.
Well, Nathaniel's going to start to scry on someone, stop and go to find the guard commander.
Okay. When you say guard commander, do you mean the fort commander? Or?
Yes,
Okay.
fort commander, my bad.
All right. Commander Sazek is in her office, easily found though.
I will knock on the door and wait for her.
She just kind of looks in and goes, please come in.
I've come to ask if you've already sent the message to my brother.
I believe we have just sent off the messenger birds a few moments ago, yes.
Do you have any way of having us speak to each other directly?
What do you mean, speak to each other directly?
It has been roughly 4 years since I last spoke to my brother. And roughly a year ago, he found out I was still alive.
That's
At most. If there's any way for me to actually talk to him directly. Because there still might be bad blood there that he may not wish to send home. If nothing else, it might be better for me to tell him that this is not for myself.
That may be out of our scope currently.
Okay.
Ben, check your phone messages up. Check your phone, I sent you something.
That's completely fine. I will go find my friend and see if he has any way for me to do it.
Cut now to Fenrir before we finish. At this point, you sent Severin back. The camp has been made, and currently you and the female Emerald Dragonborn are sitting talking about various things. She just kind of looks over at you. Can I ask you a question? And this is in Draconic.
Of course.
Did you let me win that tied in the circle?
Absolutely not.
You mean I actually... I'm surprised. I did not originally wish to join the military, but my mother said it is what my father would want, and it's not easy for someone of my position to ascend in the meritocracy, being who I am what you would consider the term, I guess, would be bastard. I wanted to use my real name, my father's name, but I don't believe my mother said it would have caused more issues. She goes, my name is Vindris. Vindris Vintrix.
I meant to say that a lot earlier, it slipped me.
That name sounds familiar to Beck.
But what I'm going by is Vindris Neran. She leans in. Can you keep a secret?
Of course.
The Primarch is my father. And I want to make him proud so that he will recognize me as his daughter. And if I can put a green warden on their back, then maybe I'm cut out for this soldier stuff after all.
I believe you are. And he reaches his hand out to clap her on the
She
arm.
just kind of reaches out and takes your hand as well.
Two of you continue to kind of share, laugh back and forth. There's meant just to give some information to you that you can have later on. With that, it is 10 o'clock. We're going to call it for the evening. A lot of good exposition, a lot of good story. A lot of, see, Verog mining. Oh, I love it when a story comes together.
I was just sitting here the whole time she's complaining, going, "It ain't easy being good."
Right.
Fenrir is going to bond over shared familial expectations.
And now
So-
the sudden need to keep the president's daughter alive.
And the need to keep the president's daughter alive. This is his goal now. Like, he has to
He has to do the thing.
do the thing.
Remember, this is the president's legitimate daughter.
Doesn't matter to Fenrir.
Doesn't matter, still counts.
So, with that, thank you all so very much for joining us this evening. We will be back next Sunday, rip roaring and ready to go. Getting very close to a massive combat that I actually have this really cool village set up for. I can't wait to bring that. I hope we will have our dear friend Great Wall Grisselbrand back. I bet a lot of y'all thought the Verog mining was a throwaway thing, wasn't it?
No.
Once you mentioned it the
It
third time,
It just
I
hasn't been
realized-
around for a minute, so I think the people who were dealing with it the most had forgotten.
We're getting to the good part now. So with that, I want to say thank you all for watching us on Twitch and YouTube. The podcast version of this will be up Tuesday morning. Thank you again to Chaos Media, and he also has Lone Star Custom Dice on TikTok. Go check his stuff out; it'll be great. Thank you to the Hive here in Macomb for letting us bring our idiocy to all of you. So with that, Natural Ones, anything to say to the folks watching the stream?
Goddamn family problems this entire group has.
Fenrir's turning into the Secret Service for Kalal.
I don't.
Yes, you do. We already dealt with yours. That's the